So today we're at a bit of a fork in the road, and I guess you could even say not the crossroads, though. Ha ha ha. You get to sort of go off the basis that we've sort of graduated not only from Valley of Trials, but also from Senjin Village. We're hailed as like a minor hero, and so we move on. We've earned the right to move on to Razor Hill. I think, everything else, and there was sort of an epic encounter last time with the level 8 voodoo trolls. The hex trolls were easy, but the voodoo trolls had that little shock shield, so I almost felt like I wouldn't be able to do it and I would have to come back, but I risked my life and I did it anyway. The trick was sort of using the ratio when they're at half health. You can kind of pummel them down to the point where their heal won't go off, or it won't matter as much, but those were very tough. I did a little SI7. Alliance player plays as Horde for the first time and beat Zalazane using a SI7 method by going behind. Because you got to think about it. Like, even if other players are there and they're sort of clearing through the camp, you should try to do it in a way that's more organic. Like, either you have to fight through the camp yourself to get there, or you have to do some sneaky way to pull them. And in this case, I wasn't even able to do that because I don't have range. I'm not going to be able to use a bow. I'm not going to be able to use a dagger or anything. So the three big decisions we make today are, we get to choose our talents, which I didn't even look at them last time, so we'll go over that. I get to choose my professions, probably going to be engineering and mining. And then I get to choose my pet, which I have no idea what it's going to be. And it might be some sort of kindred spirits connection with my first hunter and only hunter that I played, which I got to like level 25, which was ironically Horde 2 when I very first started playing the game, and then eventually I became an Alliance mage. But I chose a raptor from Durotar, like one of the red ones that you get like later on, not from Senjin Village, the Echo Isles, I don't think, although there were some there. It's something further on, I'm pretty sure. Like where the ravine is, or maybe, I don't know, but it was a red raptor. I might do that to sort of bridge my whole WoW experience together, because that was one of the first characters I ever made. The highest level I made up to that point, level 25 Orc Hunter, with that guy, with that pet. Or it might have been an orange one, actually, now I forget. It was a raptor of some kind, though. So I'm tempted to do that. It feels kind of redundant, though, as a troll, because you're already, you know, you already ride them as mounts, but maybe that's a reason either to do it or to not do it. And yeah, as far as talents, I've forgotten what they even are. I know there's aim shot for marksmanship. I'm not going to do marksmanship. I might do survival if there's like a level 20 ability that's like a repeatable melee attack, just so we have more variety. And then go into Beast Mastery. Beast Mastery feels kind of like cheating, but that's kind of the whole design of this character. We'll sort of be like Batman with our little engineering gadgets that we can do, which are going to be very hard to make. Plus, that'll be like our only utility or abilities. Plus, we'll have the pet doing most of our work. So we're a hybrid between Batman with like our little tool belt where we have a little cooldown here and there to save our life if we're in trouble. And we're also a Pokemon trainer where our pet is our main lifeblood. Yeah, I don't really remember what the talents are very well. And I mean, you can't blame me. My only experience as a hunter was that, right? So like, what do I expect to know about it? I didn't really care too much. I mean, aim shot is the way to go. Like, it's an amazing ability. I should do this like The Witcher, where I read through every single thing. So I might not even make that much combat progress today, but those three things I want to tick off at least. Get the pet, get the professions, get the talents. Let's actually see. Or let's see what all the benchmarks are, because that's what really matters. Like level 10. Like, what is the level 10 ability? It's usually here. So what is it? Oh, Bestial Swiftness. Increasing the outdoor movement speed of your pets by 30%. That's not even that big of a factor, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't really care that much about it. I mean, the point is you should go Beast Mastery and you shouldn't feel bad about it. Because, see, Hunter's like one of those easy mode classes that... I don't know why I even chose it, or kawaii. Oh, I never noticed that. Is that like a joke on the Japanese word? Obviously, for cute. She's so kawaii when she dances like that. This is Intimidation. Command your pet to 1 minute cooldown. Intimidate the target on the next successful melee attack, causing a high amount of threat and stunning the target. So you could use that basically every fight. Bestial Wrath is God tier. Obviously, send your pet into a rage, 50% additional damage. Also, it can't be, does not feel pity or remorse or fear, and it cannot be stopped unless killed. Very badass flavor text there too. Marksmanship we're just not going to do. Obviously, aim shot is great. In fact, there was some point where aim shot was like banned in Battlegrounds or something because it was too good, but I don't know how people even went about doing that. Like it's just an honor code type of thing, but how would you stop somebody from doing it? Or maybe Blizzard themselves somehow stopped it. Short range shot that deals 50% of melee damage is like a CC. See, stuff like that is cool, but I mean, it only has a 30-second cooldown, so you could use it every fight if you wanted. Any damage caused, it's just not something you're going to be using on a repeatable basis. This you can use every single fight, multiple times over. That can be your primary source of damage. Deterrence when activated. See, this is the kind of shit, dude. Increase your dodge and parry by 25%. Yeah, I'm going to be a fucking tank as a hunter. What kind of a brain dead counterattack, 5-second cooldown, a strike that, yeah, see, this is kind of what I would want though, still, to be perfectly honest with you. Something you can do over and over. 5-second cooldown. Oh no, but you, after you parry, 40 damage. Like, I want to do the survival hunter, but I can't. None of these things are good. First of all, it would force me to tank unless I want my pet to. There's no rule against respeccing, so I can totally fuck around with it. It's just like, I'm tempted to do it because the hunters are so easy mode that I felt like, okay, it'd be unfair if I was able to use range, take away my core mechanic and most of my abilities. But then it's unfair if I use a pet, so now I'll take away, you know, the bonuses to the pet. I'm really struggling with this because I would want this. Yeah, Wing Whip already does 50%, so what does that mean? Oh, immobilize them? I was going to say, what does it make it? 100%? Speed reduction, critical strike. I feel like you can almost do a separate character for this, but after you parry, so maybe I could tank and my pet could. It's kind of a tough decision. I really don't know. I should have to do survival because the whole point is your melee. So whatever the pet does on its own, we're going to let it do, but I'm actually going to go here. So we're going to have to do parry. I'm going to put myself at major risk here because I thought the pet was going to be a tank, but now I might be more inclined to have a pet do like a range pet. So they'll get to do range, but I won't. Like one of those things in the Wailing Caverns, although it might be hard to get those exact ones. That sort of enemy type. Increases all damage caused against humanoid targets by 1. I mean, these are good, but you need the parry. That is a weird decision, but it's in keeping with trying to make this a true hard mode. I've been getting very unlucky with getting bags, or maybe the fact of the matter with bags is the idea that you're not. So maybe I should make it so like I can't do Beast Mastery at all. I just have to do survival the whole way. So whatever the pet can do is just a bonus, but you don't want the pet to be too overpowered. Right, so we're making the most of what we have, and it is going to be very strong. It's going to account for, in fact, the majority of my damage. So somehow I'm going to have to keep aggro, though, and I don't know how to do that. It's important to me because you need an ability like this, and you need something because you're not going to be able to do a whole lot. So even with the tools in my tool belt, like my little Batman thing I was saying, it's not going to be the greatest. So what did I spend all my money on then? I would have had to have bought the fishing pole, or what did I buy? I can't remember. That doesn't make any sense. How did I spend all my money? Not like I'm having to buy ammo and keep up with that at all. It's sort of like I was saving up to try to buy the fishing pole actually as a rite of passage to leave here. Maybe I should farm up and actually try to do that. If he even still has it. Yeah, it's this dude.
Talk to me.
He still has it. I don't know what this whole one thing is. It means like one for you, but I thought it also at times throughout the game has meant like you can only buy one, and then if somebody else buys it before you, it's gone or something. What the heck did I buy? Oh, I think I learned apprentice fishing. That's what. That was like 5 silver. Where is it? Maybe I'll use that to get a whole bunch of money, and then I'll be able to afford that. So turn this back in. Let's see. I forget if it like this shows you is Alazane defeated. Oh yeah, I haven't been reading maybe as diligently as I should, or at least I almost forgot to. Yeah, I'll actually farm up by getting my fishing up. Like one final fishing escapade to leave this area, earn our rite of passage, learn the way of water. And then in doing that, we should be able to afford the better fishing pole, which ironically does more than my base weapon damage. Like the top end is way higher, like up to 20 something, whereas mine's like 8. But the only thing is you can't use your ability, but your ability is not that good anyway. So the only melee ability actually in that is the repeatable one is like a parry trigger. Does 40 and immobilize them for 5 seconds. Can't be blocked or parried. I mean, your parry chance is going to be at least 5%. Like, what is it now? Or do I not even have the ability to do it? That's one of those ironic things. Because don't you have to learn parry like from a trainer? I feel like for other classes, even you kind of forget about it because you take it for granted that you can always do it. But I don't even have the ability maybe to parry, and now it's letting me get a talent that gives me a higher chance. So I don't know. There is something I wish to discuss. Comes to by me. He acknowledges my class. You have my brother's skull. Is he finally free? So there was another one of those on like the other island there, like on the very top island, but that wasn't the one he actually wanted. So that might be for some other quest, or it might be for like a class quest, like a shaman quest. You have saved Minshina. You have saved my brother's spirit from slavery. Faintly glowing skull, which it does replace it. Why do I feel like maybe sometimes it didn't work like that? So this is like, oh, here he is. Spirit of Minshina. He has those really cool looking shoulders that some of these people do. I like how one of the lines for the troll NPCs is like, stay away from the voodoo, but they're wearing voodoo masks and they're like witch doctors and they look at the Vol'jin and all this kind of stuff. Faintly glowing skull. So this is like a once in a lifetime sort of save yourself. Again, like one of those tools in your tool belt just to get out of a tough spot. Since you don't have any innate abilities, or very few, you've kind of clipped your own wings, as I said. The Zalzane defeated Zaldane's head, which is an imp picture, which is a little bit insulting to imps, am I right? With Zalzane gone, our tribe can... I mean, I guess this is too. I never really thought about it like that, but our tribe can once... So you're calling trolls basically imps, because it doesn't look like a troll to me. Our tribe can once again sleep in peace. Thank you. Yeah, you'll literally be asleep at the wheels for like another 5 expansions before you finally take them back over, like with Nomergon. At least with Nomergon, you could say, oh, it's contaminated, so even if we beat the guy, you're not able to come back there and take it as your major city. But what excuse do you have not to take back the Echo Isles? And the Horde and Alliance would make some excuses like, oh, we're so busy fighting the Scourge, we can't do it. When really, they probably just don't give a shit. The Dark Spirit Tribe owes you much. If you suffer from an ailment, visit my assistant Bombay behind me. Bombay? Who is Bombay? Behind me, his voodoo is strong. Lightweight boots. Some of the stuff you would just get to sell. Okay, so I think we're 100% clear. That's not like I have to do every quest. Oh, he was that guy we talked to earlier. Yeah, he said he would heal me and whatnot, but give me like an item that lets me do it. What does he actually do? I be Gadrin's assistant. This here volunteer work be my way of getting through Witch Doctor's school. Where is that? Where do you get to go there? What if I want to apply? Since you need him, I help you for free. Yeah, see, it's weird that that's not even a class, because that's a class like in Diablo that you get to play in one of them, like Diablo 3. Need help, I fix you for free. What you need fixing? Whiplash, Unibrow, Jungle Fever. Is this just going to be like a meme? Okay, first of all, let me equip this. The reason why I think I haven't gotten bags, whereas normally I say in these low-level areas they're very ripe for giving you bags, is because you have to kill humanoids to do it. He's just walking away. How rude. So like once I get to Terragard Keep and kill the humans there, sure, they might drop bags. But so far I've only fought beasts like imps and fell hunters, demons, or the boars, or the scorpids, or the stuff here. So maybe those have a lower chance to drop them, or maybe they don't drop them at all. Low spirits. He's going to amuse me by hexing me. This is like the Warcraft version of like, if you've ever seen like a hypnosis show or something, like, oh, we'll make you hypnotize you to cluck like a chicken. Like, oh, haha, so funny, you hex me to be a snake. Like a roleplay type of thing. Veiled grips. I'll actually watch it out all the way. Technically, the snake one has got to be pretty unique. I don't know if I was ever aware of this. See, all these little flavorful things that I had no idea that this guy even did any of this. He just said he would heal you, but that's pointless because by the time you get here and do it, you would just auto-regen from spirit. Bad hangnail. Is one of these gonna like kill me or something? Imagine if it actually did. You feel strange. I'm just drunk now. I don't know if I should do them all together. Let's try to fish like this. You feel completely smashed. Or I don't know if I could handle a combat encounter like this. Don't fight while drunk. Put my life at risk. Yeah, the whole goal is I want to get enough money. Wait, those quests didn't give me any money either. They just gave me some kind of items. There's nothing really to to attack you here that's really aggressive. And you don't even really need the baubles just because of the simple fact that your fishing skill is high enough. The problem is I don't like to toss this stuff out. Here, let me actually broke my 100% fishing accuracy run because it's so overly forgiving. You can wait like 5 seconds after it splashes to do that. So he makes you into a snake. He makes you, wait, why did it go away? Even though I'm still drunk. He makes you a snake. He makes you drunk. It said 5 minutes. It hasn't been 5 minutes. Let's sell the gloves. I'm being super conservative with the items because I don't know when I might need one for something or how they might be useful. I'm playing it in a very RP intensive way too. Like I could get anti-venom stuff from the first aid or something, so that might be helpful in the long run.
What you want?
You know, every little thing could play a part because I'm going out of my way too to make it way harder than even I was anticipating to do. So somebody else has a quest here, which is weird. It must just be from having leveled up a little bit.
How you doing, man?
We did get like 2 levels from that, just going to the islands. And of course, this rested experience I almost don't even appreciate, but it is what it is. Yeah, the first person ever to complain about having too much rested experience. Hello, young hunter. You look... So this is a good measure of how much you get in a week. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5 bars in a week. So the max you can get is like 2 levels, so it would take 8 weeks. You'd have to quit the game for like over 2 months to be able to get two full levels of rested experience. Hello, young hunter. You look like me. You look to me like you are skilled enough to handle a beast and train it as your companion. Oh, you're gonna give it to me? Who the hell are you? You're not a hunter trainer or anything. You gotta show some respect, I guess. He was just kind of dancing around like a clown the whole time that we've been here. You must see. Oh, she's just kind of the go-between, the broker. The Durotar at Razor Hill is kind of flickering a little bit. He can put then that's not because I'm drunk either. He can put you on the path to earning a pet of your own. Speak with Durotar at Razor Hill. So every single quest in the universe is sending me to Razor Hill. Now, what would be interesting is like, what if there's another quest in Valley of Trials that would? I pity your kind for the. Yeah, I mean, I'm a mage at heart, dude, but I guess I probably should have done a 1 to 60 as a mage. I've only done 3. 1 to 60 permadeaths, I mean. But in fact, I've really only had 3 level 60 characters, period, as far as Classic is concerned, which is a mage, a rogue, a warrior, a priest. So this would be my 5th, but they're all in permadeath fashion except for the mage, because that was just my original character. And as much as I like alts and stuff, I never took the time to really level another one. Then in BC, I still played as a mage. I didn't really get alt to max level. And then finally in Wrath, I kind of re-rolled to a warrior and made that my main, and then my mage became my alt, which was a little bit insulting considering how much I loved mages. But so before I leave here, I will definitely get that fishing pole. I don't care how long it takes. Today is going to be like a non-combat kind of day. We'll get the pet, which will involve a little bit of combat. See, even there, people could grief you. So if you were a big streamer, like how they always complain, that's why we only do raids, or that's why they play in such a bombastic way, I guess you could say, is because, oh, people will troll you. So I'm trying to tame a pet and somebody will kill it. And you kind of got to tame whatever he forces you to at the beginning, but I can't actually decide. I kind of want to do the raptor now that I think about it, to sort of bridge the gap. That's kind of nostalgic for me because that was the only pet that what is that animation that he just did? I guess it would be different because I'm a female anyway. Feeling underpowered. I guess I am melee hunter, all grown up, but it doesn't actually give you a real meaningful buff. These are pretty cool, but you wouldn't be able to use them in any, meaningful way. Make a gnome do it somehow, even though it breaks the factions, just to make them an easier target, because that was like that's one of those luck skin kind of moments. Why did it go away? I guess I splashed my face with water, proverbially, by going here. Why did the drunkenness go away so quickly? Like I was trying to fish while doing this. In fact, I'm still kind of drunk. That is a good RP thing. Like we'll have a really rough day and come close to dying. So in game, I'll obviously in the run. So then I'll get smashed and kind of hang around town. Like imagine when I get to Orgrimmar, how long that's actually going to take me to do everything, because I'll talk to like every NPC. I'm really playing this like a story game, but because I haven't seen the horde side very much, and even when I did, I wasn't really like paying attention to it. So when it comes to what was I gonna say? Yeah, the raptor was my first and like only pet that I really used. I can't remember if it was orange or if it was red, but I feel like I got it right outside of Orgrimmar like right where, you know, where that Thunder Ridge or whatever is, where if you jump down, you fight the big Kodos that shoot lightning at you, or whatever they are. It was like above there. I mean, I guess the color doesn't matter that much, but I almost wanted it to be the exact same one. I'm pretty positive it wasn't one of the ones on the aisle here. You should probably just shift click that. I don't like to have auto loot on just so I can look through what I'm actually looking at. And it's always nice if they drop the exact same one so you can stack it like crazy just to sell. Not that they sell for very much, so this could take a while. You might think, oh, I'm a little over leveled, like I'm already level 10. Razor Hill is supposed to get you to level 10. And for some reason, I thought the Barrens would, I thought you had to go to the Barrens to get the pet. Somehow I remember that. Or maybe I just chose to get one there, or I don't know. I'm almost thinking I want a range pet, though, truthfully, in the long run. But you can always change and do what you got to do. But yeah, the over leveling thing isn't really a factor because, you know, whatever it is you're doing, if I do lower level stuff later, then that's not going to level me as much. So it's not really a big deal. Or in fact, I could use that to my advantage to try to get the pet to catch up. So we're going to rely on the pet. We're not going to abuse the pet because the Beastmaster would make it too strong. So every mechanic is hindered, right? Hunters are an easy class, but now you can't use range or any of your range abilities. You are able to have a pet, but you're not able to go into Beast Mastery with it. And finally, you're able to use professions, but the way to get materials for them is going to be very sparse. So even like I'm going to do engineering, but how hard is it going to be to get the stuff for it? And even if I do, like without no auction house, no mailbox, no anything, you'd have to go to these high level zones and get the materials yourself. If they even drop them, like a lot of it's going to come from mining stuff. So, I mean, the point of this is to get my fishing maybe as high as possible too. I feel like this could take longer than I'm giving it credit for, but I do kind of want, yeah, this will just be a fishing stream. So maybe I won't even, I mean, we'll see how long it takes. And we're sort of RPing through all his little buffs here. Yeah, that is such a luck skin kind of moment with the gnomes where you could just target them, obviously, but if you had to like skill shot or somehow click them, it did make it very hard at times. That maybe hurts more with allies because you can like control tab, but nobody really ever does that. Can't even see your base values. You have more mana than health, which is unusual. So I'm going to be more so the tank, and my pet's going to be the DPS, and I'm going to be trying to parry stuff and show off that way somehow. I don't like that idea, but it kind of makes sense because now I'm fleshing out two things that I've never done before, or that I never really would have done before. Because even if I did level all the way, I would have been marksman, obviously. But this is maybe kind of fun to do in first person too. So yeah, this will turn into like my chess streams where I'm doing like basically just chatting, but at least I'm doing it in the context of an actual game. Or you can even do it, oh, I lost to the Alt-Z G-Force shit. Or I changed the keybind for it. You can totally do it like this for maximum immersion, aside from the name of that stupid enemy. ASMR fishing stream, perfect. You gotta get it up to 20 and dump it. I'm not gonna sell anything that could be potentially useful later, just in case. Yeah, this is one of those like days in Anthem where like I just stay in town the whole time. A day in Orgrimmar, a day in what's it called? Fort Tarsus. From the classic Sips episode from Skyrim where he's like a day in Windhelm or whatever. That was just the title, and he's derping around, going through a stream of consciousness the whole time. I don't like how some of these YouTubers started to do a face cam. Like it's such an insidious cult of personality type of thing. But you know, like Sips or Northern Lion or whoever. But at least they built themselves up without needing to rely on that. Like I hate how Pokemon said that. Oh, you know, I'm averaging 12K without face cam. But what you don't realize about that process is she's already established herself without, you know, by using it. It makes a huge difference. It's not even like, oh, because somebody's attractive or something, although that could be a factor. I'm not saying it. It's more like just they want to see your facial expressions. They associate the content more with you than the content itself. So I've always said that like it sort of keeps you honest if you don't do that. I guess I have to keep that open just to keep an eye on the amount. So how long would it take to get like 10 silver from this? Because that thing is expensive as hell. I mean, like 100% item collection run too. I mean, at least that's relevant because that'll be useful for me for the rest of the whole game. So, been pretty good so far. I haven't really come close to dying anywhere except for actually with some of those trolls on the isle, the voodoo trolls, because of their stupid lightning shield. And that's not a voodoo spell. That's like a shaman spell, god damn it. But it was very annoying. And of course, it wouldn't be an issue if you were using ranged or had a pet or anything else. But at this point, you don't have either of those options, or at least I can't decide whether I'm allowed to use a bow as a stat stick. I probably shouldn't, just in principle. Doesn't this look like it's coming just from the sky or something? Just the angle is so down that you can't even see the... In fact, it is just invisible. You can't even see your own fishing pole or self or anything. Of course, you can't see your feet in any game ever. Like, it's one of those first-person perspective tropes. So we'll get up to 20. It's only going to sell for like not even a silver. So I don't know if this is the best way to do it. I kind of am trying to do it in quadrants. Like I can't go to Razor Hill. I haven't been even close to it yet unless I complete everything here that I want to do. And the other sort of side quest or overall quest that I sort of invented for myself is I want to fish in every body of water that I see. Now the bodies of water on the outside don't matter as much. Like this whole thing counts as one, let's say every side of the continent. Like you have to fish once in the lake, you have to fish once here, and you have to fish once on the bottom. But like as far as here on land, you have to fish in all these ones, and they even showed them on the map. So that's not something I ever really thought about before. Every body of water is technically going to be marked on your map in some capacity. This is going to be helpful. So we are going to turn into sort of like a tank. These seem cool. In fact, these are objectively better, but somehow I'm really digging the whole survival RP that I want to go for. So let's see. I don't think they sell for much, so this might be a little bit of a laborious one. How much does it cost? Costs 9-1. Oh wow, that would actually take forever. I thought turning in those quests would somehow do more. So this is already green. Razor Hill. This is Razor Hill, and this is Razor Hill. So I mean, I could always come back. I don't know. This is the kind of thing I would just do anyway, though. Not even because, oh, it makes me overpowered. Like, it's just fishing. It's not going to help me that much. But just for the sake of it, it's kind of like a rare, cool item that I kind of just want. And I'll barely have room for it. I'll have to give this one up. Yeah, I've been very sparse in terms of my space here. There's no point actually getting this up all the way either. Let's just not even worry about it. I'll come back once I get some gold from like Turagard Keep or whatever. So we can see the Hunter Trainer there. So we've made one key decision. We're going to go survival. We're not going to go beast mastery or marksmanship at all. So all the points have to go here. And we're going to play more like a tank ourselves rather than let the pet do it. And not saying we're not allowed to do that at times, but I might even get a ranged pet eventually. So I think I've decided on the Raptor, at least for the starter. Of course, you can have multiple and have a stable system going. So we'll see how that's going to go. And then finally, so yeah, it's like Pokemon, except you only have one. I mean, I guess you can only have one active one at a time, but you can only have like 2 total because of the stable, or maybe 3, but you have to buy the 3rd slot. I can't remember. And so the 3rd decision is professions, which I've already decided will be engineering, which some people might look at that and say, oh, that's cheese. But I think because of how hard it is to get to the point where you're actually able to do that. Let me look at like the corners here, see if there's something interesting. It's so difficult to get the resources for it that I don't think it'll be a big deal. Either I won't be able to use it at all, like ever, or I'll have very sparse number of bombs and stuff. So it's not like one of those cheese things where, oh, I'm going to mail 1,000,000 bombs from my main and be able to use those. I have to just rely on what I have. And I'll be so stingy with using them that I'll die before I ever even do, probably. Yeah, I like to explore every inch of the map, maybe, even though this is already counted as the original achievement hunter before achievements were even a thing. And you got the racial always in your pocket. Definitely won't go with the Scorpid. I think mining and engineering would be the best bet because they kind of work together a little bit. But see, engineering requires a lot of weird stuff that you can't get from mining. And I don't know how you get some of it, or it's just very hard to do. It requires higher level stuff. It's always the one that people like re-roll to once they hit max level and then just power level it. Nobody really levels engineering organically. So we'll see what that experience is like. And the main reason why I'm doing it too isn't even because, oh, it's so good and it'll help me. It's because your character is going to be so barren in the number of abilities that they have that it's kind of like boring, right? At least I want to feel like, oh, I have a bomb, I have this, I have that I could potentially use even if I'm not using it on a regular basis. And so you're able to at least feel like you have some abilities aside from just this. Even this isn't really going to do anything for me. It's there for more RP purposes. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I want to finish the RP on that guy. There's some Quillbore camp up here too, but I might just ignore most of it until I get quests to do it from Razor Hill. I want to see the rest of his interactions because they were so long I was starting to fish. I could literally just sit here the whole time and just do the fucking fishing and this RP aspect. I'm in no hurry this run. The goal is not to get to level 60. Of course we will. And even making it as hard as I've done, I still don't think hunters are that tough of a class. But then again, you are kind of stripping away everything that makes you a hunter. I'll avoid killing those critters. Those are my two anti-immersion breaking sort of things. That I kill those critters or I jump around like a clown a lot. It just feels kind of unnatural, but sometimes it's a tough habit to break. So even like this one, I did fish in. He must let us draw the water from the well. Barzini from Godfather. Come on, you can do it. So even this one would be one that would bait you. Like, oh, I have to fish in every body of water, but you can't see this one because of the simple fact that Senjin Village covers it up. See, all the other ones are actually portrayed properly on the map. Like even where that guy's sitting, I think is one. Come on, how long does it take? But see, this is sort of the treatment. Like imagine playing WoW as a single player game. And not only is it like super hard to figure a lot of stuff out, and I've forgotten most of what I've even known. I've forgotten more about WoW than most people have probably ever known about it. There's a mining node. See, now all this is going to be, in a way you could say, oh, it's an unfair advantage because the server's going to be dead and whatnot. Although that didn't seem to be the case last time. There were a lot of people on the Echo Isles. Hopefully they just stop playing after that, though. They never get past level 10, like kind of like I did on most of my alts. I would make a lot and say, I'm going to get this guy to 60, and then I get it to 10 and stop in original vanilla. But no, it's like you'd sort of be in a situation where it's a double-edged sword, right? You can't rely on people to help you or save you or group with them or do dungeons or anything like that. But then the flip side is, yeah, you won't have to compete for them for resources. So maybe every mining node in existence will be mine for the taking. Literally mine, haha. So nothing is going to sell for a meaningful amount. So just to avoid the tedium of fishing for like an hour, although that is the kind of thing I would totally do too. Yeah, not to make it easier, but just to sort of be a completionist without leaving this area. So this one makes you drunk, low spirits, ha ha ha, because he's giving you a spirit to get drunk on. Bad hang. Oh no, this was the one. What was the? Oh no, he cheers you up by doing the sort of WoW hypnosis equivalent. He turns me into a snake with consent. Entry is consent to this guy's little domain. And then bad hangnail was the drunk. Feeling underpowered makes me bigger, but it doesn't actually make me stronger. Placebo effect, jungle fever. Wait. That's the same one. You know, you could fish here too, but that feels kind of improper, impolite. There's certain RP standards that I'll have to follow. So sort of the RP explanation for my ability to not use a bow is the simple fact that it doesn't really make it clear whether a certain body of water will actually give you skill ups or not. Like what if this it goes away? Is it because I go near the water that it goes away, or because I still am kind of drunk, but I'm not actually able to what is that? Oh, it gives you that little effect in first person, I guess, if you are drunk. Here, let's waste nothing. Let's just eat it for the sake of it. Although, ironically, in the process of doing that, I waste the one that was out there. It's gone forever. Yeah, this is a hard mode fishing. You can't really see, but the splash is so conspicuous. Yeah, for each of these little things, but yeah, that should be the hard mode. You should have to be drunk all the time, or I'd be like super OCD and I want to use the Noggin Fogger elixir all the time. But I think you have to do some really crazy quests to unlock that maybe requires a dungeon that you might not be able to do here. But no, I would like always have bags full of Noggin Fogger just to always be in skeleton form because it looks so badass. Kind of cosmetic change that you can rely on having. It only lasted like 10 minutes, and they were actually kind of expensive over time. So let's see. Can get up another stack of 20. I don't see how this even really helps me that much. Like, it's not bad, but you feel drunk. It's just weird that it goes away as soon as you go near the water, and it doesn't truly go away, so I don't know what that really means. Yeah, I can keep some alcohol on me. I can keep some noggin fogger, stuff like that. A lot of these are utility one-off items that could potentially, you know, help you at times, like the sticky glue. Unable to move for 10 seconds. Now, how far does that work? Will that work on a level 60 enemy? Because, I mean, who would bother to even try that? But, you know, you could try it in a raid. Like, that's what I love. Like, Muru, Drums of War, Chain. Like, all these creative things people come up with to deal with these crazy challenges. In order to beat Kel'Thuzad, you have to use this on one of the ads. Otherwise, it's literally mathematically impossible, let's say hypothetically. Wouldn't it be cool if that was the solution? You have to scour the whole world. You have to re-roll your character because you can never get it again once you do. It doesn't say it doesn't work on X level of enemy. You can just use it on everything. Except for maybe a raid boss itself because it'd be immune, but I find that fascinating. Or it'd be more like a loophole or an oversight. Like Blizzard didn't think to make the abominations immune to this, so therefore it would still work. Just the aesthetic of that fight was so cool. Like in vanilla, at least, like where, you know, you have all the crypt lords and stuff coming out and of the portals when the Lich King's helping him. So let's fish off my drunken scale of the fish that bit me, and then we get to. This reminds me of the whole cultural food debate thing that I said, that I sort of separate myself from taking pride in any sort of arbitrary thing like that, because it's like, why do you like seafood, or why does your culture like seafood, whatever it might be? It's because they lived on the water historically, so you're being dictated by geography. So not only is that not something you chose, it's sort of an anti-choice where it was chosen for you because of where you live geographically, and so it's just a reactionary tendency. So not only should you not take pride in it, you should almost, you know, choose what you like to eat most and not just be pigeonholed into that. So I don't know why people sort of get a certain pleasure or pride out of stuff like that. Not only didn't you choose it, it was chosen for the most basic, banal reason ever. Or like, oh, the most shallow relationship is that of the family because you had no choice in it, at least if you're, you know, you're born into it. And almost less shallow than that, slightly, is just the nearness postulate. Like, oh, you'll end up with somebody who happens to live in the same area as you. Like, I love that so much. That was one of my favorite lines from my old debate format. Like, oh yeah, you're totally, you met the one person out of 8 billion in the world who's meant for you, and they're the only one. It's sort of like sarcastically making fun of somebody who was actually implying that. And then they just happen to live in the same state as you, and the same area, and the same city, and the same zip code, and go to the same school or work at the same job. Like, what a coincidence. Clearly, it's not just you being reactionary and trying to pose it as an absolute to appeal to your own ego and just make it feel like, you know, you're not missing out by not being able to copulate with other people and whatever the case may be, your inherent tendency being counteracted. This is replace the court of reason by fishing, or by doing the whole like that random treasure room in Ocarina of Time. Whenever it's some repetitive task like this, I end up going into debates like that. Who even needs new debates when nobody knows my old ones in the first place, because it wasn't that big of a format. Destiny Junior. I still respect Destiny a lot though, just because what he did for format wise was so impressive. Way more impressive than anything Hassan has done, if I am honest. The young Turks Nepo baby argues against a generational wealth while benefiting from it at the same time. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, let's see what we can do here. We'll get it up to 20. Our drunkenness is worn off, and then we're able to... Yeah, trying to make money like this is utterly ridiculous, though. I didn't realize it would be this bad. Like, really, this would be one of the most reliable ways to do it without over-leveling yourself, without having to kill stuff, without putting yourself at risk of dying, whatever you want to explain it as. Or there'll be, like, some super rare thing you can fish up, which I feel like I remember that, but maybe not in any random body of water. That'll be, like, a 1 in a million, and I'll totally get it by doing this. And then people will blame me for So, sometimes I do that to myself, though. People might not even say anything, but I felt bad. Like, well, they wanted me to use the hardcore add-on, which I wasn't doing. Like, I got 100 from level 1 to 6 on my first stream in January. But basically, I was using range then, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to re-roll just to do the hardcore add-on, just to restart from level 1, I don't know if it would work if you were on a character that was already leveled, because you could just start at level 50 and then just do the hardcore add-on, so it would only count from 50 to 60. But not only for that reason, but then I figured, why not make a true hard mode format out of it too, which is very fun, because I always come up with these weird... The one thing I'm better at than even permadeaths and hard modes is coming up with formats for them in the first place. I like that bubble effect. A lot of the stuff I don't remember. It's not like that's a horde thing. That's just a general RP. I guess I didn't get drunk that much. I'll use it only as an outlet for my... See, we'll create like a sanity mechanic too. If I come close to dying, I have to drink. Otherwise, my sanity goes down in an irreparable way and causes all kinds of negative effects, because, you know, it's just something you have to manage. We're not doing stuff just for RP. This guy brought up my spirits. My favorite's probably the snake one. That is actually pretty cool. So he reused recycling animations. Low spirits is not actually the one I said. This is like turn you into snake. This is turn you into a drunk. Turn you into an alcoholic like Sue, Kathy Rain. I just uploaded that one. Feeling underpowered makes you bigger. That makes you drunk. Unibrow, whiplash. I don't want to go back to work.
I may have something.
You better not kill me. You better not kill me. Fucking god damn it. Imagine if I died to something like that, dude. Give me a break. Good way to see whether you have a fear of heights or not. That was unibrow, though. What does that have to do with the unibrow? I don't get it. Whiplash. Okay, so basically the solution to almost everything is just to get drunk. I kind of want the drunkenness to wear off before I... Does going by water do it, or what?
Someone call for the doctor?
Right. I just want to see it in maximum resolution. If you launch while drunk, you'll die. The ultimate combination. I would love it if I died to something like that. Drunk and hypnotized together. Wow. Clucking like a chicken. The ultimate tie-in. Look how I predicted it. Maximum entertainment. Go to like a hypnosis stage show and volunteer while you're already drunk, and you'll have the time of your life. Because that's almost all what it is. Like you're just in more of like a suggestible state. People kind of don't fully understand how it works. It gets turned into like some kind of boogeyman type of thing. Like, oh, they can make you do whatever. Okay, let's go here.
How you doing, man?
I'll have to do this just to be able to repair. That's what we're really saving for. You have to remember to come back and take the fishing pole. Other than that, I don't think there's any real meaningful upgrade. See, like even this is my best in slot weapon for the time being. Just at least what I can get here. I do want that though, just for the sake of it. That's a very loud scorpion sound. Sometimes they do encroach on the backside where they'll aggro even as you're standing up on the ramp. Like this could be super valuable for engineering, because I don't know how or when or if I'm going to get more. You might get a couple from the mine slots. You might get a couple. What did I even get them from? It's not like I'm a miner yet. I don't want to make my first appearance in Razor Hill as a degenerate drunk, so we better walk it off. This is a cool effect. Yeah, we got to use more stuff like this that is very RP friendly. So, but then again, it does put me more at risk, although not in a real gameplay sense. Like, it just makes it harder to see, which isn't like that big of a deal. In fact, even while fishing, that was no big deal at all. So I just have to remember, come back by that. I don't think there's anything else really that I want to do. That's the only reason I... Level 2? Wait a second. That's a bug, isn't it? There's no level 2 scorpions here. These are level... Wait. What happened? Oh, it's because you're drunk. I didn't even know that. It's actually trolling you. That does make it dangerous. This could be way higher then. It's like level 5 or 6. Or maybe it has like a fixed amount. We should learn how that mechanic works in case drunkenness is inflicted upon us by an enemy ability, which for some reason I seem to remember maybe that happening. there'll be some sort of hard mode moment where we turn into an alcoholic in RP, and then we're forced to be drunk all the time, and we have to play around that just because our pet. Oh wow, that's actually a good RP moment. I just thought of our pet might die, and while we're dealing with it, the grief of it, even if we get a new one, we're drunk all the time because we have to deal with the loss of our pet. That is such an organic, awesome way to actually do it. So when your first pet dies, you're forced to drink all the time. Waste your money on it. You have to do it even if you can't afford it or you want to buy other things. You have to do it all the time when you're fighting, even if it makes it inconvenient and unclear. So that'll be a punishment for our first pet dying. And remember, I also said that whenever a pet dies, I lose that type forever. So if we get a raptor, I lose the raptor for all time. I can never get another raptor. So it's permadeath pets in that sense too. I can't revive them. And then you lose the type, and then what I might turn into is like a men pet fiend. I'll be a healer for the pet, more so than an actual fighter myself. That is very interesting. I don't remember that ever happening, like where it lowers the enemy levels that you see. It might be by like 3. And see, it doesn't even say that you're drunk here anymore, but you obviously are. So it's not like I went out of my way to do that either. It was just that guy wanted to do it to me multiple times. At first, it was like every interaction is going to be unique with the guy. But, oh, shit. That must be my drunkenness that would impair me to fight 2 things at once, which I almost never do. But they are much lower than me. Could be a difference of like 3, or it could just be random. Because these aren't level 4. They're like level 6 plus, or at least 5. So imagine if it does this with like level 60s or much higher level stuff too. That is interesting. I'm not going to be a herbalist. Mining Skinner is the most natural thing for a hunter to be, but I think it's a fun extension gameplay-wise to just say we can use engineering, but it's going to be very punishing and hard to actually make much use of it. So it might be a dud because you have no other resources to get from anywhere else besides just your journey. So you'll do some quest that gives you some weird item just by chance, like a copper tube, and that'll be some big threshold that you need to be able to level your engineering because you have no way to do it organically otherwise. One thing I hate about streaming this is actually the fact that there's no, well, there's a motion blur issue actually that keeps happening for my VODs. But no, there's no category for WoW Classic in OBS. There's only a category for WoW. Like, that's stupid because it gets buried behind the very small number of people, I'm sure, who are playing Dragonflight or whatever, you know, other version of the game, even Wrath. But no, there should totally be a classic version. Like, there's so many different expansions. It's not fair to do that, or at least put classic Wrath and classic Vanilla in the same thing. And you know what's interesting is they actually, how long does this last? They actually sort of, they removed BC as soon as Wrath came out, but they kept this around. So that's an interesting decision. Now people will complain and they'll say they want classic BC back too. Like, why not just keep like one server up, right? For each. That's all you need. And you might say, oh, well, then it'll get overcrowded. But if the game's dead anyway, right, that cuts down server upkeep. I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't be able to do that till the end of time. If even fans can do it. That's the one aspect that makes them look bad. So there's 2 mining nodes that we've already seen, even without our tracking ability. We're a natural master tracker with respect to being a hunter. There was one like by the rock there. I mean, any rock structure, you should be looking for it, but that could be an RP thing too. Not only should you not be allowed to use the map in any form, let's say, potentially, but you also can't use tracking. But being a hunter, you should almost be allowed to do that. Hopefully these tour guard people will give me bags because I've been very unlucky with getting them so far, and I'm very stingy about getting rid of anything. In fact, I only have 1 free slot. So if I have to deal with like a quest item, I'll have 0. I do find stuff like this very interesting. That's almost the kind of thing I'm looking at for, like, to make up for the lack of abilities I'm going to have, because almost all of them are going to require a ranged weapon. I can't think of too many. You might think, oh shit, that was a good sneak attack. You might think that this almost counts, but it doesn't really do anything for me. It's just, it increases ranged attack power. Could be a good way to sort of just direct our pet in sort of an RP way. That like, oh, we have to mark it before our pet's allowed to attack it, which it only takes a 15 mana. Yeah, like, how would you even go out of mana with this? You wouldn't be able to, because you could spam this as much as you want, but it's never 3rd copper node. we're learning the way of being a miner without actually having the skill yet. But no, it's like, oh, it shows you like their little Overwatch icon. Wait, but how would it know? If you just logged into Battle.net, it wouldn't know what he's doing yet. You could spam this, I guess. Yeah, this would be the only way to go But why would you ever need to do that? Kind of exploring the outer parts here. Like, pretend like, oh, first time Alliance player who's playing Horde for the first time. So I've never seen these areas before, except when I attacked Orgrimmar a couple of times. So it is cool to kind of just get this different perspective. But of course, no, all you can do with the game is speedrun it to level 60 in Raid because you've done everything else. Ha ha ha. Like, who has gotten every class from 1 to 60 without, I mean, first of all, period. Probably not very many people. Not saying you really need to do that, but for just people who feel like they're burnt out with the game or they've seen all there is to see. Or even further beyond that, who has like rated as every spec and whatnot. Or even the people who have leveled from 1 to 60 will go a step further. We'll say like, okay, have you leveled from 1 to 60 in the context of not getting run through dungeons by higher level people? I mean, see, now you could say that's kind of cheating that there's so many because it's a dead server, but there are ups and downs of the single player experience. Because what might happen is you could be about to die and then somebody will help you even if you don't want them to. That could be the kind of bullshit that discredits the run. But what is the point of this little enclave here? Nothing. There must be some secret quest that spawns something there, maybe. At least now we know, like how we would find Sarkoth organically without needing to have the quest to tell me to go there because I would explore the area anyway. Or like I saw that Shaman Stone. A lot of the stuff I did already know because it's not like I've never played a Horde character, but I never really took my time with it. And of course I played Alliance so many goddamn times, but there's probably still things that I basically missed, you know, flavor-wise. I can't say I've read every bit of quest text, but I think over time, probably most of it. Oh shit, here we go. Fall damage. You get the Far Cry effect and die from even that. So I'm just like drunk for life where the levels are going to bug out. These are not level 3s, dude. What would be the point if they were? Because you're already going to be like level 5 or 6 by the time you get here. The fact that I'm level 10 does make me seem like a degenerate over-leveler, but... Oh, there he is. Does it really only reduce it by 1 level? Or it seems like it could just be by random amounts. I just don't like to have stuff roaming around that I could potentially aggro by accident, I guess. Yeah, I just want to have some utility belt of stuff that we can use at any time. We'll have to just sack the grays for now. I didn't realize these could stack so high, I guess. For some reason, I thought it would stop at 5. We're not going to worry about Terragard Keep until we're prompted to. This is like if I was playing an Orc, Orcs Must Die Revenge, colorized, where now it's instead of Orcs Must Die, it's Kill All the Humans, where, you know, you're finally taking your revenge. That's like some kind of RTS tower defense game. Let's go here. Probably just as engaging as Plants vs. Zombies. Wonder if they made a sequel for phone only. Or wait a second, why was that one visible? It might even be bugging out. Like, that guy was a level 6, but this guy can't be a level 4. Or maybe they really are. We'll see whether he gives me experience or not. No, so I'm selectively drunk, I guess. Level 5 now, I don't know whether that's authentic level 5 or not. Like, these you might actually have to worry about. Why are these so low level? See, all I've really done is gone to the Echo Isle, so like, if you do that, you'll be over leveled naturally if you just do every quest. But at some point, it'll catch up with us because stuff will start giving us less experience relative to where we are, or it'll kind of be like, it'll be a case where you're not able to, I don't know, it'll just take so long to level in general that you're not going to be over leveled. Have a fishing pole equipped. I should almost test the damage for that. Yeah, that's going to be a joke I use too many times. This isn't Ganondorf and Twilight Princess where you can hover it above his head and he kind of bugs out. One of the most degenerate things you can do. Water might be too shallow here, which is a good guess. See, there might still be some part of it that's not. Or even when it says, oh, it didn't, oh, see, look at that. It didn't land in fishable water, but even though you're right next to it, but there will be some part of it that is. A little puddle or pond, like in a cave, maybe. I'm gonna have to put myself at risk even to fish in every body of water that we see in the world, because that is sort of like an ancillary condition to this thing, just like a bonus quest. Just invent your own quests. It almost shouldn't give you the skill up unless you do loot it, because, you know, that's part of the experience, is gutting and fishing to kill. That's a great little monologue by McAllister from The Mental. It's like, I forget exactly what he says, just takes a certain bloodlust to not only kill the beast, but to gut and skin it too, or whatever. Kind of like trying to psychologically identify a killer. So this is going to be the Quillbore encampment. That's Terragard Keep with the humans. There's some Makura by the lake, some of the shellfish guys. And thankfully, we have them all to ourselves. Ha ha ha. Yeah, there's much less people active today than last time. And it was the same day of the week and basically the same time. I guess maybe it's a little bit later. This is like one of those resurrection quests, whereas like a shaman, you might have to heal him or something. Kind of exactly like the paladin one, where you have to revive somebody. And this is a place that I have no idea. What is this place? I'm not familiar with these strange structures here.
I got all this and personality too.
I don't think did I hear all the jokes for, I must have, for the female troll.
Strong halitosis be but one of my feminine traits. If cannibalism be wrong, I don't want to be right.
You're not even an undead who has that as a racial. That should have been saved for them.
I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty.
Okay. The fuck is the spit there for?
The way to a man's heart be through his stomach, but I go through the rib cage.
Ah, that's a good line.
I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty.
Some of them will repeat, but you might have been. Oh, I have to do a little stand-up comedy routine in this random place that I don't know the name of in order to become sober again.
The way to a man's heart be through his stomach, but I go through the rib cage.
Imagine me not doing this. This would be the first thing I would do, because I really, not only have I not really played trolls before, but I've never played female trolls especially.
If cannibalism be wrong, I don't want to be right.
Yeah, but look at how long that actually lasted. And I like all these random leveled guards too. It wasn't so uniform back in the day, like, oh, level 55 for everything. I mean, some of them will be, but Razor Hill, so we'll spend quite a bit of time around here. So each thing we're doing, like, you know, it's hard to explain, but if you were to do it like in a single player game, it's not like I'm just going to wander around. I'm going to, we can save exploring, you know, filling in this ugly shade of the map later. And we also have to fish there. So yeah, it'll be like every portion of the map. I think I can be granted that benefit of doubt. But there might be some like super inconvenient spot that like you have to go, I don't know, there'll be like a little thing in Stone Town Mountains where you have to go up to the Alliance area to be able to fish there, and it might be very hard to do. Oh, I don't know, actually, now that I think about that condition, it would have to be at least I mean, once I'm level 60, I can try to do stuff like that, and you'll have feigned death, so that'll be like a bonus unlock condition. You'll have to go like into fucking Stormwind and fish in the goddamn pool or something. How would you manage to do that? There could be a few exceptions. So now we have 3 quests to turn in here. Yeah, today is going to be a less combat focused day, and it's more like just, we decided on this, we'll decide on these 2, which I think I already have. I got to remember what the stable master actually does for me, because do I start with the slot already? Because I want 1 melee and 1 ranged pet, and I especially want the ranged pet now that I've committed to survival, because it just makes sense, and I'll be the tank. Current pet. It only costs 5 silver, so that won't be too hard to do. You can have a ranged, a melee, and something else. I don't know exactly what. Not that they're ever going to die, but just for the utility of being able to switch them out. Ordinal Soul Scar. Sounds like you could be a Warlock trainer. Yes, you have something to report. Well then, let's have it. Darkstorms. We cannot allow the Burning Blade to foothold in Durotar. We must destroy them before their evil festers. But I don't think we see them again until outside Orgrimmar. I've undergone my own investigations and found that a Burning Blade Warlock, the Goblin Fizzle Darkstorm, has camped with... Oh, I forgot about this. Within the Thunder Ridge to the northwest. We might find a raptor there yet. There, he and his cultist minions have spread chaos. Find and defeat Fizzle and bring me his dead claw. I guess I don't even think of the goblins as being in league with them so much, but our gear is obviously going to be dog shit. Only greens we get are going to be from the thing itself. Like if we get drops or something. I don't train your kind. At least he's not too much of a dick about it. Garthok, Thromka Hunter. There is little time for talk and much work to be done. Vanquish the betrayers, but Illidan's not even here. Led by Admiral Proudmoore, the humans of Culture Acid encroach upon Durotar. Yeah, go ask Thrall, though, about his little butt buddy, Jaina, though. Much as they hate the Proudmoores. Violating the War Chief's pact made with Jaina Proudmoore. Oh, they're even saying that. Admiral Proudmoore, the humans of Culture Acid have encroached. Violating the pact made with Jaina in order to defeat Archimonde years ago. But see, Jaina's probably still not too happy about that. The human aggression repelled and Terragard Keep fell. But recently, the Admiral's reserves, led by Lieutenant Benedict, have retaken the keep and once again pose a threat in our homeland. They show no respect for our diplomacy. Prove your honor and travel south to Terragard Keep to eliminate the human invaders. So they're kind of just scapegoating Benedict and saying, oh, Proudmoore isn't probably called the order off or something. Or there'll be some note there to that effect. Kill 10 Culture-ass sailors, 8 Marines, and Lieutenant Benedict. It's interesting when they lump these quest objectives together, right? Sometimes it would be kill the 10 sailors and 8 Marines, then come back, and then we'll tell you to kill Garthok. Not Garthok. Yeah, they'll change our mind. We'll have a change of heart and join up with them. And then kill the Benedict later. But some of these are actually interesting with how they link them together. When we arrived, the Razormane Quillboars possessed much of the land, and we proved a thorn in our side. That's actually a great pun, because how there's always those bramble thorn things around where the Quillboar are. Amazing choice of words. Through our efforts, you're a real thorn in my side. Very poor choice of words, as one of them stabs me with one of their thorn-inspired weapons. Through our efforts, we have driven out the largest part of their numbers. It's amusing to me what kind of enemies these races struggle with. For as badass as they seem in the lore, like Sen'jin almost died to Murlocs, or he did actually die to a goddamn Murloc, or, you know, the trolls were getting overrun by them, so the orcs had to save them. Oh no. The entire, like, you know, in lore, Sen'jin's like this godlike figure who's supposed to be, you know, level 100 elite and sitting around in town like a skull that you would have to get a raid to kill. But no, a dinky Murloc is going to kill him in Warcraft 3. Or the human struggling with the gnolls, King Lane being, you know, struggling with his armies, and Garona kills her because they're locked in combat and their armies can't come to save him, or whatever the story is, I forget. Or like the Tauren, they're struggling with just the mere centaur. So it does give kind of a weight and depth to them when you think about it. Like, the centaur aren't just these random level 20 enemies roaming around in some of these zones. They're actually a real threat. Or even the Quillboar. So it just makes it seem farcical because of the low levels that you face them at. But of course, the Quillboar are a whole society that stretch all the way up until... instead of just saying, oh, it's recycling enemy types, all the way into the Razorfen Downs and that whole area in the Barrens. So there's quite a big presence for them. Or they even do a good job, like with the Silithid, to say, like, okay, there's some in the Barrens, and that's kind of like a good foreshadowing of what's to come. They stretch all the way from the Barrens through, like, Thousand Needles, through Feralis, through Silithid. So, like, the whole southern part of Kalimdor is absolutely infested for them. So the Silithid are to Kalimdor what the Scourge are to the Eastern Kingdoms, basically, because they have, like, this foothold, but they're such a massive potential threat, even though they only have a couple zones under their control. Like, let's say Silithis and Feralis are very infested with them.
What do you
They did a good job sort of spacing out the threats, is what I mean in vanilla. Like, it's not just one enemy that you're going against. In fact, there was no, like, titular villain of the expansion. You're just going in and you're just experiencing the world, and then it turns out to be Kel'Thuzad, which was set up for pretty well by Warcraft 3. Like, he leaves him behind when he goes to face Illidan and take over the Frozen Throne. They possess much of the land and proven a thorn in our sides. Though our efforts have driven out the largest part of their numbers, back to RFD and RFK, I guess, they still remain well fortified in some areas. It has gone on long enough, however. For our own protection, we cannot allow the Razormane to hold in our lands. Their camps can be found to the west of here. Look for the brambles, look for the thorns, and you will find them. Today we drive them from Durotar. Tomorrow, perhaps all of Kalimdor. And so nobody knows at this point. That's a bit of a lore surprise mystery moment that they're in league with the Scourge. So I wonder how much it's maybe one of those like subtle takeovers. Like even the ones here are taking orders from the Scourge, but they don't know it's the Scourge yet. Or like Rage Winterchill, or that's from Hyjal, isn't it? What's his name? Ras Frost Whisper. It's hard to tell whether they're like in league deliberately. I forget based on the quest text and stuff, or whether they were just like taken over by force. That's like the only Scourge presence in all of Kalimdor, right? If I'm not mistaken. So he's basically the Kel'Thuzad of Kalimdor, and so that almost makes him seem either he's thrown here as just like a bait to say like, oh, just give him something to do and give him like a fool's errand, a suicide mission, or this is like my RP quest giving part of the session. Either the Lich King sent him here just as a fodder, like, oh yeah, whatever, we'll make it seem like we're trying to get a foothold in Kalimdor, but we really have no chance of doing it. Or he's so badass in lore that he's maybe even better than Kel'Thuzad, even though level-wise and stuff it doesn't make sense. But he's giving him such a major responsibility, right? Kel'Thuzad is watching over the Eastern Kingdoms where there's already the Plague Lands in 2 areas, so like he already has an advantage there. Meanwhile, this guy is in a continent that has no Scourge presence, nothing, and he just has to make do with what he has with the Quillbore. So who's actually more impressive? It's like the means argument. Kel'Thuzad is starting off with an advantage because Arth has already fucked over this whole area for him, right? Even here you have a bit of a advantage in these zones, even though they've been taken back by the Forsaken. Here you have nothing, and he's so resourceful that he finds the Quillbore and he does what he can. Like if you're just leveling outside, pretend you don't go in RFD. You don't even know that the Scourge exists if you're on this part of the map. I can't think of any instance where you see them. There's like literally 0 Scourge presence. Even here, I don't think that has to do with the Scourge so much. It's just more so, you know, the Centaur and the shit in nature. In fact, I leveled in these zones quite a bit, even as Alliance. Like, you think of them more as Horde zones, but once you get to a certain level, it doesn't really matter. Even here, there's more demons in the Kalimdor than there are Scourge, even though the demons have been driven back. Like, there's a little outpost of them in Winterspring. There's some in Ashenvale. When we arrived... Okay, I keep canceling that out. Somehow this quest text really triggered my interest. It has gone on long enough. For our own protection, we cannot... I found to the west of here, drive them from Durotar, perhaps all of Kalimdor. Yeah, even the Quillbore are a bigger threat. Even the Centaur are a bigger threat. Like, the Horde shouldn't give a shit about the undead, except by association with the Forsaken, which they're still kind of the outcasts of the faction, and they start off, like, neutral with everybody in reps, right? They don't get this benefit. So the undead are at an objective reputation disadvantage. It almost discourages you from playing them altogether. Not all races are created equal. From the perspective of a player going in, it's kind of unfair. I'm not a big fan of this, but achievement 0 points. I don't know what that even means. Like, what are you trying to do? Explore the full map is my whole thing. So kill 4 Razormane Quillbores, 4 Razormane Scouts, 4 Dust Runners, and 4 Battle Guards.
Strength.
You got 2 quests from this guy, and I'm pretty sure this is always the same dialogue as when you actually do turn it in, because it's not like he's scolding you like, why are you talking to me if you haven't finished it yet? Or sometimes they do say that, but they say that even when you are finished with it. You have your orders. The safety of Durotar is in question. Complete the task before you or hang your head in shame. Show your honor and defeat the humans of Terragard Keep, and hopefully get a bag from it, not from a quest reward, but from a drop. It doesn't actually tell you what you get though when you're in this menu. Though they do not possess some intelligence and some organization, they do possess some intelligence and organization. I find it constantly amazing that the Quillbores were able to capture and hold so much territory in Kalimdor. Perhaps they are more crafty an enemy than I give them credit for. Interesting. Pet trainer, he'll just say, "You've come for me in order to pass it on to your pets." Me for training. Yeah, shouldn't you be able to train your own pet? Isn't that the whole point of being a goddamn hunter? But I mean, in a manner of speaking, you still are nurturing them along the way. Oh, this is going to be a real sinkhole for my money, though, too. Now, only certain pets can use certain abilities, so I don't actually know how this works. Like, this is going to be a whole new experience for me. Although most of these are passives. I mean, none of these are actually attacks. So that'll be dictated by, or like this kind of is. Yeah, I'm going to use it less as a tank than I thought I would. So I'm subverting the two things that people would say would make hunters easy, not because they've said that so far so much, but just my own principle as a hard mode permadeath player in a lot of games. It doesn't feel right. So I can't use ranged bows, guns. I can't use a pet as a tank, at least not in a traditional sense. Like, it might end up doing so much damage that it'll be a tank anyway, but I'm going to play it like I'm the tank because I have parry and I have all these different things I want to try to use. So it's a weird hybrid that I'm doing. This should almost be like there could be a different playthrough where like your hunter isn't allowed to attack at all and you have to play only through the pet. But for levels 1 through 10, you obviously wouldn't be able to do that. I train and guide young hunters in the traditions passed down for many generations. Yes, I believe you are ready to be trained. It is an admirable skill to, oh, he's not talking about just generally, but in terms of the pet, to command one's authority over nature. As a hunter, you must strive to learn and use the force and power inherent to any creature of your choosing. Gaining control of an animal is not an easy feat. It is a task you must undertake with much determination. Your first assignment, take this taming rod and use it to tame a dire modeled boar. You can find them quite close to Razor Hill. Practice your skills in battle with the boar at your side and return to me. Use the taming rod to tame a dire modeled boar. Practice your skills and return the taming rod to him.
Be safe.
He has a Scorpid. Already quest failed. That invalidates the 100% perfect quest run.
What do you need?
Imagine if it wouldn't let you try it again once you fail that. I don't think there will be an engineering trainer here, actually, and we're not going to Orgrimmar. This is going to be nice little piecemeal episodes. So, like, imagine for as long as I play some of these card games, it'll be an ongoing series like that in a secondary slot, like today, every Thursday. So this could go on for like a year. Like, I don't even care. Because it's not meant to be, I mean, we'll see, but...
For the Horde.
You get the taming rod. Let's see what he can actually teach me, because we haven't learned spells since, like, level 4 or 6 or whatever that the first chicken Valley of Trials gives you. Aspect of the Hawk is not going to be very useful. So it's not like I'm obligated to learn all these spells. In fact, I very much won't be able to because of how much I'm probably going to spend my resources on other stuff. So yeah, instead of doing this, I'll be using it to try to level engineering. But again, only with what I'm able to do organically solo. Increasing range attack power by 20. Like, even this I learned just for the fuck of it, but... yeah, see, I have 1% parry chance, but I don't have the ability to parry. But this is some kind of contradiction of design. 0% chance. Wait, why is it 0, though? I mean, it's not scaling with my character at that point. Dual wield at level 20 and mail at level 40. These are both very fun things to look forward to that are kind of game-changing in a way. You'll have to, like, once you get around level 40, you can save all your mail stuff instead of vendoring it so that you're able to... you know, really have a set going in. That could make a big difference. And then dual wielding could be fun. In fact, I'm not even thinking about that. I was thinking more about using a two-handed weapon, but that could be a fun flexibility that we have. I kind of forgot about the dual wielding, actually, for hunters. German I can't use. Arcane Shot I can't use. How much does it really do? 20 over 15 is a pretty bad dot. This does 13, which is okay for this level. This is a very important ability that you would spam. You would do that and do like an aim shot to pull them, then do concussive shot, then do another aim shot by the time they get to you. Yeah, we're relying on Raptor Strike a ton, so this is actually a big upgrade. Increases melee damage by 11. It's actually not a bad ability because of how spammable it is. It's like compared to Heroic Strike or something like that. At this stage, it's not actually that bad. Of course, it's all I have to rely on. I don't have the money to do any of this, so let's just wait. In fact, parry is pretty important because somehow I'm creating the survival. I want to see what my base parry ability actually is. Like, will it be 5%? Then once you do this, it'll be up to 10%. There's not really... oh yeah, and we'll be playing with all the traps and stuff. Yeah, that'll be the core meat of my gameplay. Well, oh, that kind of fits with engineering too. You'll do a trap, then you'll do an explosive bomb or something, then you'll do your Raptor Strike, then you'll have your pet. So it'll be a sort of a custom class that I'm making. Take away the bow, but replace it with, well, I mean, all the stuff that you could do anyway, but now you're forced to do it. So you can use range in that sense. You can throw a bomb at them, but I imagine it won't be that easy to get. Hackrin Pathseeker. Conscript of the Horde. You look pretty strong. Listen, my good friend Cargill needs some new recruits for Barrens duty. I know you want to do what's right for the Horde. Well, this is your chance. Take this recruitment letter to Cargill and see if he'll sign it. Follow the west. You're like forcing me to make somebody sign your guild charter. Follow the western road from Razor Hill to the Barrens over a bridge. From Razor Hill to the Barrens. Wait, you're giving me a Barrens quest already? Fuck that. Stop at the orc outpost across the bridge. Although I am level 10. Maybe that's the only reason he's giving it to me. They're already going to give me quests to push me there because it's like the game telling me that, wow, you're so over leveled that you should totally not even be here. But I'm not going to worry about that for a while. Stop at the orc outpost across the bridge. Give Cargill battle scar at the Barrens outpost your recruitment letter. And I like how much I'll talk over these quest texts that they'll turn around and start to walk away and just, you know, oh my god. Fail count 2 on quests. There's really not much I can get rid of. I mean, there's no bank opportunity yet. I don't want to get rid of any of this. We have the food buff from there. I'll just have to wait, I guess. Just remember that that's there. Remember when I get up to 9 silver. Yeah, I'm having kind of a money problem because I do want to buy that just for the sake of it. I mean, this you could always buy back, but I'm not going to waste that. I wanted to buy the fishing pole there, but I guess I just can't. How about you give me a quest that isn't going to, like, a quest that's not going to take up space in my inventory. Break a few eggs. Bah, I almost forgot I need to get breakfast ready. Rygor, get yourself moving and get me some tail lasher eggs. I'll need at least... How do you know, like, who I am so well that you would just ask me this on site? Like, I'm only level 10. It's not like I've established myself that well with the thing. I'm friendly with... you know, with Orgrimmar, but it is weird. Like, I wonder, how would this dialogue be different? Like, if I come here as an undead, they would have to acknowledge it at least in some way, wouldn't they? Be a little more respectful or be even more disrespectful. I'll need at least 3 of them if I'm going to have enough for tomorrow's meal. For some reason, I thought it would be 4. The blood talents, oh yeah, this will tell me where to get the one that I'm talking about too. Right, this must be the one that I got as my orc way back in the day. The blood talent. So like, what did I play as? I played as like a druid. I got it to level 6. I played as a Tauren druid. Then I played as an undead warrior. Got it to like level 17. Then I played as an orc hunter. Got it to level 25. And then I re-rolled to alliance and got a mage to 60. And the rest is history. Human mage. As far as like my original experience with the game. At least 3 if I'm gonna have enough for tomorrow's meal. So you're gonna keep raw eggs just for a whole day. The blood talent tail ashers can be fierce and protect their eggs to the death more often than not. Well, it'll be to the death every time because they're all going to die and not me. They sometimes bury their eggs too deep in the earth to uncover safely. But if you head to the... Oh, Echo Isles again? Echo Isles to the southeast of Ascension Village, you can usually find them all over those islands. Oh, this will be the ones where you have to pick them up. So I don't... Oh, so maybe it is going to be that. But maybe I should save that trip. I swear there were some red raptors up in front here. Or if there's an orange one. I'm really struggling to remember. And there'd be no way to verify it. Like, it's not like I still have that super old account. Was it red or was it orange? I'm pretty sure they were the ones outside Orgrimmar, so it might actually be orange. It wasn't from the Barrens or anywhere, I'm pretty sure, because I just got it here and then I just ran with it. So I want to learn cooking. I want to learn mining. I want to learn... some abilities from there. I want to make room for some quest items. There's a lot of things I can't actually do here. These guys kind of pad around a little bit between some of this I know maybe just from attacking some of these cities. I would kind of solo troll some of them. Like I would kill the Flight Master in Tanaris for like hours on my mage. I would do like Palm Pyro. It was so easy to do. Get out of there. I locked that shit down for like fucking days one time and people got so mad from like both factions. Or no, wait. No, it's not a shared flight path, so... he just suddenly does the animation. Let's meditate on the water here, and then we get to... I'm sure we can do it. I'm sure we can do it. Fishable water. I'm pretty sure these kind of things count as being able to be fished in. No? Fuck, we're gonna end up killing myself to something like that eventually, but... you'd have to stand in it for a super long time. In fact, your spirit would probably outdo it. Resting, you are now rested. Indicate a portrait glowing yellow, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you get about average of 5 bars a week, which I forget how it used to work, but I almost feel like they upped it a little bit which I'm almost trying to avoid getting. I might even do that. I won't rest in towns, or I won't log out in towns, because I don't want to level too fast. For as thorough and slow as this playthrough is probably going to be. So I don't know whether I want to do that or not. It might not really matter, but... Oh yeah, I forgot that I wouldn't use that anyway, but for some reason it's just a habit to check. Yeah, like, imagine doing the same thing without needing to use an add-on. Like, imagine having that creativity and imagination. I guess you would just have to be me, huh? With all my kind of things that I do, like self-imposed regulations. Okay, clearly you can't do this. For some reason I feel like I fished in something like that before. Yelnagi Black Arm. We could get wasted by that guy again and hang out with this dude. Innkeeper Grosk. If we are to make the new lands ours, then we have places to rest our battle-weary bodies. Lay your axe by the fire and share the stories of your mighty battles. What I learned from Diablo 4 is you should never do that, because then they'll fucking wait till you're passed out and feed you something poisonous, and then they'll drag you to the barn and try to dissect you or something. That was actually a pretty good twist moment. The first town you go to in Diablo 4. Welcome to Razor Hill. Clear up our inventory a little bit. This is the food Ukor brought from the Valley of Trials to the Valley of Trials. Did they not need it? Well, I guess they like to starve you heroes in training. Build spirits, they say. Thank you for returning the food. I'll stick it on the back of the shelves, but here, let me back on the shelves. But let me offer you some refreshment first, which I won't have room to actually carry. I mean, I hate doing it, but wait, didn't you take Ukor's burden? So you should trade it out. It should be fine. I'm being very stingy with not... Although I don't need more than one stack, so I might just sell this right back to him. I'll stick it on the back shelves here. Let me offer you some refreshments first. And don't forget to rest here in the end. You may be a brave hunter ready to take the world on, but if your energy is sapped, I'm actually more like a warrior role-playing as a hunter, or vice versa, a hunter role-playing as a warrior. Take on the world. Although, to be fair, like, how many abilities do warriors really have at this level? All you'd be doing is spamming heroic strike and rend, and you know, you don't really have that many things to do until you get mortal strike or one of the higher level abilities. You could do slam. I remember nobody ever used to goddamn use slam for any purpose, and then at some point, like in Wrath, it became like a viable form of DPS, or it was part of a rotation where it would become instant or something. So many things that they just neglected for so long that became relevant. I remember specifically in Wrath, like Arcane. I always wanted to like just spam Arcane missiles because I got them to do like 500 damage each in vanilla or something, and it was so satisfying. But you know, so it felt like, wow, 2,500 for that little. It just looked cool, but it obviously wasn't viable, or it was way too mana expensive or something. Don't forget to rest here in the end. You may be a hunter ready to take on the world, but if your energy is sapped, you won't be doing yourself or the horde any good. Yeah, that's kind of what today even is just a rest and relaxation kind of thing. So even the linen, I want to wait till I get first aid. So like, you might think I'm being stingy with the way I'm doing this, but I'm fine with it. The fact is, I should have had more goddamn bags by now, shouldn't I? It's kind of unfair that I don't. You always get spammed with bags in these early level zones. So, I mean, I don't have any room at all, though. I'm satisfied with that, actually. We'll just go with the 20. Let's see. All the stuff we're going to keep, even the light leather. I mean, once I have a bank access, it'll be all good. Don't want to accidentally sell that. It's very good. 37. That is actually amazing value. It does 100 plus potentially, and it can probably crit, and it heals you. Of course, it's a one-time use item, but those things can be kind of badass. You have no excuse for dying at this level when you have amazing stuff like that. So this, I do actually have room for the thing. Problem is I have too many quest items, really. Maybe I shouldn't even bother doing this. So now I can skip the quest text like the normal person would do. And to be fair, I mean, I totally did that the first time I played the game too. Because you're putting in so much time, you just want to see if the game's good. But then it's like reading books in Skyrim. I always compare it, right? Like, I didn't read books in Skyrim right away, but then when you played it for hundreds and thousands of hours, then you're like, wow, I'm so immersed in the world. Now I kind of want to do that.
What do you need gold for?
So we want to tame the pet. I guess I'll at least get like maybe mining as a profession, but like I said, I pretty much decided. I can't think of anything else that would be the one I really remember from one of these permadeath runs was on a warrior. I was an alchemy herbalist, and you might question that, like, that doesn't suit a warrior at all. He's supposed to be badass, or he's supposed to be mining blacksmith kind of thing. But I did it because I wanted to always have potions on hand, aside from just buying them. Like, I'm out in the wild and I can just craft a whole bunch or whatever from I keep some vials and whatnot, and just be able to rely on potions, because warriors are so subject to not being able to heal, and you don't have a pocket healer, so I'll just do it myself, and it actually worked pretty good. And the fact that potions and stuff can crit was really handy too. You're no warlock and I have no time for you, be gone. That's definitely a class I want to touch base with at some point too, is the warlock. Of course, their pets are kind of less emphasized, like they're kind of just there and whatever, but we could do permadeath for that purpose too. Like, if the imp dies, I can never use the imp again. Imagine that kind of pressure, right? Then you have to play everything very safely. Dugru Gorlust. Your will is not strong enough to manipulate the forces we control. How do you know? It's like chess. Like, oh, you can never be Magnus Carlsen, but have you played as much chess in your life as him to know? Don't question my will, just question my current ability as it stands. That's always my philosophy in life. Nobody plays this game like this. Like, zero people ever play the game like this. It feels like, at least. And of course, there are those other servers of which we may not speak, but Bowyer, what's a bow, dude? We even got rid of our starting quiver. We even got rid of, you know, our starting bow, so I just won't equip any. That could be an extra hard one condition. Yeah, I won't even use it as a stat stick, even though there's certain bows that have like a ridiculous amount of agility and stuff on them that is still going to count towards, like, agility is still your primary stat. Attack power with both range and melee, whereas strength won't be as good. And improves ability to score a critical hit. So increases armor and dodge attacks. How about parry though, dude? Nothing's going to give me a parry chance except for my talents. It is such a hodgepodge kind of thing. So I just don't have money, so I'm not going to worry about anything else. Let's just get our pet for sure. Razor Hill Barracks. I could try to visualize the structure from Warcraft 3. How similar does it look? They probably did do it pretty faithfully. You want to talk to every NPC. The stables are kind of a fun mechanic to manage. There's all these things you have to manage that you don't have to do in a lot of modern games and MMOs, right? Where it just does it automatically for you. You don't have to worry about ammo probably as much. You don't have to worry about, you know, really taking care of your pet and constantly feeding it. That's going to be a little sink on our inventory too, with how much food we're going to have to keep. A lot of meats. Got to keep him happy. Although he'll always be happy because he's never going to die. The only way he might get unhappy is if we dismiss him to bring out another one, which that we're certainly allowed to do. But what we're not allowed to do is in combat. We can't dismiss him in combat, like to say, oh, he's about to die, so I'll save him by doing that. That'll be a rule too. Oh, there is an engineering trainer here. I had no idea. I like to build stuff. Of course, I like to blow stuff up even more. That's an awesome line. Only 10 copper. Oh, here we go, dude. Let's see how hard these things are to craft, dude. It doesn't even tell you here, obviously, but arc light spanner. It's going to be hard, but you know what? It's just a bonus aspect of it. And like I said, I'll be very stingy with the use of the bomb, so it doesn't even matter. What is our upgrade here? 4 to 9. It's actually the same thing. These guys don't actually have anything better for me. Obviously, at some point, we'll also have to learn how to use the weapons. That's actually one of the hardest things, you know, when you're not relying on, which I didn't do in my other 3 playthroughs either, but permadeath playthroughs, is like you're not relying on money from any other source, so you just have to get it yourself. Not only can you not buy from the auction house, but you can't sell to it either, which is a big source of where you get your money from. And also, you're not able to mail stuff from a main or anything, or group, and do stuff that might give you more money that way, like quests and dungeons and whatnot. So you're really in the shit when it comes to the ability to I thought you'd have to go to Orgrimmar to get an engineer trainer. That's actually interesting. Imagine what royalty they would be. Not to talk shit about orcs too much, but like, you know, it is a very prestigious thing, I would think, to be an engineer for them. Like, for some of these races that are considered not really so brilliant and skilled with that, like who would be the equivalent on the horde side, on the lion side? You could say like dwarves, but they're more like archaeologists, so I guess it's not that unusual. Maybe night elves would be least likely to be engineers because they're more in nature and herbalists and stuff. Yeah, like does Darnassus have an engineering trainer? Like I think they do, but there were some weird things that, yeah, it shows you how little time, even as an alliance player, I spent in Darnassus, and even most of the characters I played were just humans anyway. Let's check out the barracks. We talked to the warlocks. We Lots of leather armor, bowyer. Yeah, let's just focus on getting the pet. There's a lot of overwhelming things to think about, and I even want to go back and buy the fishing pole too. So we just need a lot of money, which I'm probably not going to get, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Unfortunately, my space is so limited, and I'm being very stingy with these items. You be watching yourself, Hunter. Respect our ways, or a curse be on you and yours. But that's not an appropriate thing to say to me because I am a troll. But I guess you mean like, you mean in terms of class. That's why you're calling me a hunter.
What do you need?
Dwart, shaman trainer. May the spirits be with you. See, he's being nice at least. I'll kill him last when I play on Alliance again. Now you're teasing me with the bags, but I would rather just get them from random drops, especially when there's the same quality of bag. Like some NPC is gonna sell a traveler's backpack, which I completely forget. You gotta understand, I haven't played this game in years. Like the last time I played it was January this year, and then before that was like 2019. So even as much as people act like they know everything about the game, naturally and organically, even though they always look stuff up, they first aid techniques, I can't get it yet. 1 silver. Even though people act like that, you know, there's certain things you're gonna forget, and I made a point not to look stuff up, although I'm sure I did originally a little bit. Warrior trainer. Yeah, imagine you play it like this and you do every class like this. Like there's way more content. It's like when a new game comes out, like, oh, GTA 5 comes out and people play it all day every day for a week, and then they're like, oh, there's nothing left to do, this game's too short, this game sucks. Although to be fair, they did remove like vigilante missions and stuff, so that was kind of a bad idea to try to force people to play online and buy goddamn shark cards. I don't train your kind, Hunter. Find your own trainer before you anger me. That's kind of like canned dialogue that they said before in the thing. In fact, some of it might even be canned to the point where it's on both factions. Right, like the human warrior trainer would say the same thing to anybody else. Not even specifically. Like they fill in the words hunter and whatnot, but he wants me to do a dire modeled boar to earn our ability to do other things. And I think our perfect choice would be the raptor that we're fighting. Oh, but he is sending me to the Echo Isles. I don't really think I even went to the Echo Isles on that guy, although it's been this. Now we're talking like when the game first came out or after, because I didn't play it right away. But level 6, so now my tankiness is going to come into play because it's going to allow me to, do I have to get it to low HP before I do it, like in Pokemon? You got to catch it when it's in the red. Begin the taming of dire modeled boar to be your companion for 10 minutes. If you lose the beast's attention for any reason, the taming process will fail. Let's actually do that as we would do, you know, normally if it was Pokemon. We have to get it low before we tame it. So because I'm so much of a higher level, this isn't as risky or dangerous as you might think. Now we do this. But yeah, look at how much he's going to do to me even still, because of how long this is going to take. You almost would have to do it like this. I don't mind him being under-leveled, although we're not actually going to take this guy anyway. I really mainly want to do the one in outside Orgrimmar, because I'm sure there's raptors there, but now I'm sort of doubting it. Just in the area above the Thunder Ridge, there's totally some raptors there. I mean, you could test out these abilities. You only have 10 minutes to do it, though. Orders your pet to attack current target. Orders your pet to follow you. Orders the pet to stay at your target current location. Increases physical... So this will almost be our ability bar, not this, because we're going to have very few things there. That's the trade-off that you make. Increase the physical damage dealt by the caster by 13. Movement speed by 60 for 4 seconds. Boar charge. 10-second cooldown. You'll use that automatically when it's like that. Look at how much detail this had, even in vanilla. Like, they really did some things... very impressively. Defensive, passive. I might make it passive in general, just so that I'm in complete control of what's happening. Let's see some boar-on-boar action. Make you kill some of your own kind to ingratiate you into my control, even though we're about to abandon you anyway. I'll just do one fight to see. Now, he won't be able to do it now, will he? Let's see how well we can keep aggro either. I guess because he's lower level than us, we can, but in general, we might not be able to. It doesn't say you have to be at a certain distance. It just says... damage dealt by 13. This is the thing where they always come, you know, when you first aggro them and they'll rush at you and fucking crit you for like 50. But it doesn't keep up. Like, what is the horde equivalent of the Defias Pillager? I almost said those voodoo trolls were super annoying, but that could just be because I'm meleeing them so much. Because not only am I stripping away my ability to do ranged, and I don't have a pet there when I'm fighting them, but also I'm making a point to have to hit them with my dinky low damage melee weapon to be able to do damage to them, and every time I do damage to them, they're able to It's kind of not teaching you a very good sense of loyalty to the pets, though. You're getting them just to toss them away, right? Even if I wanted to keep this one, I won't be able to. In the hunter traditions passed down many generations. Good luck, young hunter, taming rod. You have done well. I believe you're ready for the next task. The advantage a pet affords you against your rivals is duly noted. Rygor. No, it's so conspicuously noted that people make fun of it and say, oh, this would be the easiest class. I don't know how I even chose this one for this particular run. I kind of want to do them all eventually, but hopefully Blizzard doesn't go bankrupt by then or doesn't take the classic servers down. When you gain control over another creature, you are adding to your own strength. Yes, of course. They become a part of you, and you become a part of them. Your pet must become an extension of yourself. Oh, wow, I said that without even reading that. The next task requires you to turn from the land. You will find the next creature. Like, what happened to it? Is it just gone? Or I'll have to dismiss it. Find your next creature in the waters off the coast. Across from Senjin Village near the Echo Isles. Look for a spirited crab called the Surf Crawler. Use the taming rod to tame it, then practice your skills. Use the taming rod to get the Surf Crawler, practice your skills, and return. You don't really have to practice your skills, I don't think. It's just he's just telling you to do that. Maybe we should let it go in the humane way, the troll way, by actually waiting the whole 10 minutes. Like, what will happen then? It's not like I'll fail the quest because the quest is already gone. Or it'll let me have it until then. It doesn't actually tell you to abandon the guy, so what are you supposed to do to this poor boar? We've already killed enough of his kind. Now we gotta torture him and let him go. Or it'll just replace it automatically, I guess. Or we can dismiss it here, but I kind of don't want to. So yeah, we're totally allowed to dismiss pets, but not in combat. And we can't let them die, otherwise they're gone for good, and so is the type. I'm just kind of setting all these rules so they're clear. I always like to do that at the beginning of a format so people don't accuse me of like, oh, you changed it, or blah, blah, blah. Like, I think I was pretty upfront with that in Anthem, where I said, you know, each javelin would have its own, or maybe I wasn't. I did it once, I failed as a storm, maybe as a knee-jerk reaction, but I think this is pretty clear. Imagine trying to make a thumbnail with all these details in there, like, oh, we have melee only, survival, no use of other talents, no other spells, permadeath 1 to 60, immersive, reading all the quest text. Like, you could fill up goddamn a 1,000,000 character limit with that. So I'm allowed to use any kind of melee weapons that I want. And so it's just a question of being able to, or it'll only be for 10 minutes, so it might be gone before I know it. It doesn't actually give you any indication of that. So we're not using any other add-ons, obviously, besides just the base hardcore one, which I didn't even want to do. That's the only reason why I re-rolled the character. But see, that gives the authenticity of the melee-only thing, too. Because that one I wasn't intending to do melee-only, but then I just decided, you know, it's a good time to make it happen. So I like the RP of that guy who makes you drunk and stuff. He turns you into a snake, he turned you into a chicken, he turns you into a whatever else, like he throws you up in the air, and that actually kind of scared me, because you might think for that purpose, oh haha, that'll just kill you, and it's no, like, there are certain quests that'll even do that too. Drink this potion and you'll die and then come back to life, and then you complete the quest. Like, you have to be careful. I'm gonna do something like that by accident. And all these mounts are pretty badass. Like, I'll do every little thing. Like, I'll get a level 40 mount. I might not even bother getting a level 60 mount, because once you get there, you know, I'm pretty much done. But I will get a level 40 mount. Not necessarily at level 40, but at some point, I'm sure I will. But then again, you get aspect of the pack here anyway. So, like, none of my classes really had that. Priests don't have mobility. Mages don't have warriors don't have mobility aside from charge in combat. Or rogues kind of aren't that special either for it, so you're not really able to get around the world super efficiently. I don't really remember having to do this one, but he'll just let you do like maybe this one and maybe one more. Maybe one of them will actually be a raptor itself. Maybe that's why I kept it. Just it's the last one he gives you, and I didn't have the heart to get rid of it. So let's see if it's been 10 minutes if this will go on its own. Kind of a fun, relaxing, you know, just feeling out session where you're not really trying to do too much. It's gonna be a long playthrough. I mean, there's no question about it, and I kind of want it to be. It's about the journey, not the destination, because obviously anybody can just get from 1 to 60 without dying. Like, that's super easy, even within the hardcore criteria. That's why we have to make it even harder. The pygmy surf crawler, I'm pretty sure, is the one. A surf crawler, maybe it has to be named exactly that. You get 3 charges. I don't see why you really need them. I almost wanted this guy to despawn organically. Is he going to do it? It says for 10 minutes, so what's going to happen to him? Or will I fail the whole thing if I... Like, what will even happen here? Invalid target. Maybe it has to be just called a surf crawler, which I don't even know. Let me actually read that. Okay, so he's telling me to go back to Echo Isles. He's telling me to... I'll wait till like the end of this quest. So do Tiragard Keep. This will be the Quillboard. It's giving you a good variety of objectives to actually do. Go over to the Barrens, which is utterly ridiculous. This one's a green already, but the Quillboard is not somehow, even though the Quillboard seemed like level 5 and 6. And then Fizzle's Claw is in the Thunder Ridge. Use the taming rod to tame a surf crawler. You will find your creature in the waters off the coast. Oh, maybe it's... I mistook it. It's going to be by the coast, by Tiragard Keep. It's not going to be by this coast, I don't think. Just because I saw... Oh, so he doesn't send you actually this far. Although the other guy sends you to Echo Isles with no remorse, so it's not like they really care about sending you on a runaround. So we have a lot of professions to learn. You shouldn't try to overwhelm yourself too much with them. We'll do a little janitorial cleaning of the town. These guys are way too close. They'll bother somebody when they're climbing up and end their poor run. I like to turn at an angle so it's clear which one he's attacking at all times. Like if he turns away, obviously it'll be pretty clear that he's attacking the other one. See, now I'll have 20 anti-venom provisions ready for when somebody when I actually get first aid. That's gonna be pretty handy. Somehow it's gonna be like a PvP server and I totally forgot, and then I'll get killed by a player in some stupid thing, but I'm pretty positive that's not the case. And yeah, as if it's such a dead server. In fact, the one I first made a character on in January, then I had to re-roll because I was like, oh, there's too many people here in Valley of Trials. The only time I've seen a significant number of people so far in this playthrough has been on the Echo Isles. Either that's just like a super busy spot in general or something. I don't know. You know, guess what I'm doing. Am I auto walking with like the num lock button, or am I walking with the keyboard? You'll never know. I always love to do this just to appreciate the scenery and get that nasty motion blur bug, which I can't seem to figure out how to fix it. I've tried like a million different fixes for it. There's no way it's been only 10 minutes. Or maybe that's just only during the quest, and once you turn it in, he stays there forever. I could just keep this guy and just level with him, period. You don't even have to complete the quest. So does that mean I could get this guy to level 60 even while doing this? That'd be kind of a fun thing to test. You technically should be able to. Right, like would they really throttle his experience? Like who has ever tried to do that? I'll do a run where I specifically try to do that. I'll never complete the quest, but I'll get him to level 60 this way organically. Or I could do that with the surf crawler too. But it never told me to actually dismiss. So if you didn't know that, what's going to happen? Will it auto dismiss once I do this, or will I have to? But I'll get him to low HP regardless. That'll have to be a rule too. So I won't be able to tame something just in this. In like a spur of the moment decision. I'll have to actually get it to low health and then do it, which means I have to like put myself at greater risk because of the simple fact that, oh, he's actually gone. But see, that's always the organic way to do it, right? We stayed with him. How was that only 10 minutes? It felt like way more than that. We spent our time. We did everything. We didn't let him die. We didn't let, that would even count too. If he died, we would say, you know, we're not able to get a boar again ever. Imagine failing at this very amateurish freshman point where we're just able to do it for the first time and we already get it killed. But no, we didn't even have to dismiss it. So maybe I'll give the other one the same treatment, assuming it takes me that long to get to the next one afterwards. Just see if we get like some lucky green or something, because otherwise I don't even have room. And even if I did, I don't know what I'd get rid of. Like, all this stuff is kind of important to me right now. So they're going to be over here, I'm pretty positive. I don't even really want to start this quest yet. But I might have to fight my way there, so it is what it is. Just because, yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm missing out on loot. I guess I'll just have to get rid of some linen cloth or something. Now, these guys do run away in fear. And by guys, I mean girls, too. But, no, it's like... Yeah, why did I even choose a female troll, too? I chose, like, maybe the thing I found the least likely for me to play originally, because I always made fun of trolls, like they're so stupid and they look so silly and they can't even wear shoes, can't even wear boots. And the female troll, with all due respect, looks kind of ugly. So maybe I'm kind of subverting my own expectations that way. Like, do the thing you're least likely to do. Like how I play classes other than mages in games is just to counteract the fact that I always would only play mages in the first place. So these guys will have the charge, which is able to kill you pretty damn easily. Getting a lot of like, why does that chick even drop Malachite? Like, what does that have to do with anything? She moonlights as a miner while she's doing her duty as a soldier. That's pretty admirable. Make so many puns with that to do with, like, Admiral Proudmore. He's a very admirable fellow. So surely the surf crawlers are going to be here. And then there's some Makrura in the ships and stuff, which is not really telling me to deal with yet, as far as any of these quests I picked up. Yeah, we'll go here. This is a series I'm making a point to try to keep up with the uploads on YouTube too, because so many of the other ones I'm far behind. Not that it really matters in terms of the time of it. You could have done this years ago. You could do it years from now, hopefully. It's just like the peace of mind that I always wanted for WoW. Is like, I always say, like, oh, I would pay $15 a month for the rest of my life just to be able to play the game in some form or another, you know, classic or whatever. But you just want the... Wait, this is still a pygmy surf crawler. What's going on? What the fuck? But yeah, it's just like you want to feel like the game is always out there for you, even if you don't play it all the time. Is this going to be... I actually have no idea then. Bit of a mystery. It's turning into a detective game now. I'm not going to have enough money to actually learn the professions, but I kind of wanted that to be a bookmark here to sort of show that we're choosing everything. All the major choices, kind of like a crossroads, I guess you could say, and we're not even in the Barrens yet. Like where we get to, you know, get the raptor, get the survival treat decided, and get the other thing, which is, he doesn't tell you like which coast to go to get it. This is actually a legitimate mystery. And get the professions, mining and engineering. Okay, he doesn't specify, so this is interesting. In the waters off the coast. Maybe they're just like further out there than I realize. Pygmy surf crawler, Makura crackler, or clacker. I mean, even with the benefit of this, it doesn't help you much. That's part of the ability to tame something, is being able to find it in the first place. You have to be a master tracker, which is very in line with our ability to be survival. Like, totally, there'll be something that increases the range of your tracking ability, because that's really a priority, huh? Okay, are you kidding me with this? Like, how far out could they be? And now it'll turn out to be actually at the Echo Isles, too. Gotta be careful not to die to the breath, because we'll be RPing underwater in, like, our Alt-Z look, and somehow that'll fuck us over. And I keep trying to do the NVIDIA GeForce bullshit overlay whenever I try to Alt-Z, but I changed the keybind for it. These are all pygmies. I'm a little bit confused, because it didn't work on those ones either. It would have to be on the coast here, because there's no other, you know, on the other side it's like the South Fury River or whatever it's called. Very interesting. School of fish. Maybe they'll know the answer. That's what they've been studying, the location of all other sea life, aquatic life, to be able to avoid it getting killed by it. Yeah, why don't these aggressive things attack the critters, let alone other, like, humanoid NPCs? Like, the Scorpion should be attacking and creating a raid on Tiragard Keep. Right? It always seems weird. You'll be fighting a Defias guy and a wolf, totally unaffiliated enemy types, and they both focus you. And then even once they kill you, let's say, they don't attack each other. Like, it makes sense, you know, mechanic-wise, gameplay-wise, but just somehow it's immersion breaking. I honestly don't know where this would be. Or they could just be super rare, or they could be hostile. How far would it really make you go? It doesn't really make sense that they would do this to you. Or it'll be somehow on some other part of the coast. There'll totally be some elite thing or something I forget about that ends up getting me in a lot of trouble. And I'm almost afraid to fight these in case there is something to pick up. because I don't really want to get rid of any of this, although this is exactly the time where they might give you bags when you're actually fighting humanoid enemies. That's what I like about this whole thing now that I've been ingratiated to YouTube a little bit. I don't even care so much, like, because live streaming is one of the hardest things to do when you don't have an established online presence or cult of personality or whatever you want to call it. So what you have to end up doing is actually, you know, upload to YouTube, and then you'll see what you can carve out there, because it'll be there forever, right? Like, even for the big streamers, what percentage of their viewers and followers really watch them live, right? It's pretty hard to do, or it's hard to do all the time. Even if they really do like you and they're fans of yours, it's hard to always do that schedule wise. So it's much easier to just watch a video whenever you feel like. You can skip through it. It's so much more convenient. So even myself is more like a YouTube viewer. I wouldn't really watch somebody live, or I don't really have much time to watch anybody in any capacity anymore. But so if he's not in there, where the heck could he be? He said on the coast. Pygmy surf crawler versus a regular, or maybe I can do those ones and I'm just misjudging it. Turn from the land, next creature in the waters off the coast. Across from oh, he even says it, and then I second guessed myself because I couldn't find it. The water's near the Echo Isles. So maybe I should do the raptor one here too, get the raptor eggs. But again, I don't have room, so this is starting to become a bit of a nuisance. Give me a bag as like a quest reward, because these goddamn beasts don't drop it, which makes a certain amount of sense. But it's like the implication could be, oh, you're making it from the beast skin, so you're using like a skin sack, but you would have to be a skin or tail or whatever to. In fact, I don't think there is any leather working that leads to that, is there? That actually makes a bag? There might be, but for the most part, it's just, or yeah, like even the Onyxia hide bag could be something like you have to skin Onyxia first and then make it from that. But no, she just drops it normally anyway. Man, the whole raiding scene was so contrived though for streamers. It's like it creates a reality TV show environment out of it that nobody really wants to be a part of. It's very it was very stupid. The amount of ego that you can get by simply making a game multiplayer is pretty laughable. Just check out chess in the first place. Chess is a game that you could play just against yourself, right? And then you're still trying to, white would always win because it goes first. You're still trying to find the best moves of both colors. But that's one of those that sort of subverts the, even playing against bots, right? In a game like that is not so boring. You want the psychological ego feel of like, oh, I beat up on some 1500 random rated player online, and that makes me feel good about it. We're going to get to the point pretty soon with all this AI development that bots are going to feel as natural to play against as humans, with all their flaws and preferential treatment and stuff too. That was in the waters. That was actually a mistake on my part. I had the right instinct to go here, but then I didn't go far enough. I don't really want to go to the Echo Isles again until I get my raptor for good. What was this guy even doing? He was running around a little bit. Yeah, it's only fair to have an episode like this, and we'll have definitely a long episode where we explore Orgrimmar, or it might take several. I never do things in a rush, you know? But I guess what contradicts that tendency is like, okay, I stream every day, so it's not a big deal. I'll just do it tomorrow or whatever. But now I've fallen in the routine where like I want to do something different every day. In fact, that even hurts for my hard mode series, although I guess this could technically be a hard mode series too. Like where I only do it once a week, whereas I used to do it like every other day for my story. I always have like one story game and one hard mode series. In my defense, at least, you can't see them from here. So I was right, but then I second guessed myself, and then I second guessed myself again. There he is. So you have to get him to low HP in the red, basically, like 10% range, so that he's weak enough to actually tame and to show who's boss. Very Pokemon-esque. So every episode will end with like some kind of benchmark revelation. Like at the end of last episode, we got to level 10, so now we can look at our talents. And at the end of this episode, we'll get our pet so we can finally try it out. Music is really good, but it's sometimes a little bit overplayed because you end up sort of, you know, hearing an STV a lot and other zones too. Wait, since when do these run away in fear? That's weird. You can almost take advantage of this to start to tame it, but how far away does that actually go? This almost makes it too easy. This makes it feel almost intended and organic. These ones run away in fear just so that it gives you the chance to tame it, actually. He's actually doing a decent amount of damage to me, but he let me get a little head start with the channeling in terms of tame a surf crawler, and he gets one good whack at me. Of course, it makes it very vulnerable to getting killed. This is actually kind of a dangerous thing to do, because if pets end up dying, it's sort of like a permadeath within a permadeath. I get one step closer to not being able to get a pet ever again. And it seems like there's so many types, but it's not like type as in beast, because obviously they're all going to be beasts, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be able to get another surf. It's very specific. Like, a raptor would just mean raptor. Of course, there's a lot of different kinds of raptors, but that'll count. So if a raptor dies, or like a surf crawler is a specific one, there'll be some that feel like super broad because there's so many different versions of them. But I'm not gonna, like a wolf. At least then it's like it could be a different kind of. It's hard to say. Like a different kind of wolf. Let's say from Elwyn Forest, I should be able to get, even if I got a wolf from somewhere else, like Duskwood or something. Let's see what these abilities actually are. He doesn't actually have an ability like the charge from the boar. But see, I don't like how he's holding aggro, because it shouldn't really be like that. Wow, how the fuck did you not aggro? Oh shit, we're gonna do a 2v1 here? Or I guess I'm such a high level that they just don't care about it. And even this guy's only level 7, so... Oh, maybe these pets aren't tied to aggro ranges as much as your normal one. Because it almost felt like I should have aggroed that. That's weird. Okay, we don't really have to fight too much with these. We're kind of just trying to test out the abilities once, which this one doesn't really have any. And most of the stuff you learn from the pet trainer is just going to be passive, so any of the abilities you get are going to be tied to the pet itself, and there's a whole like tree with that you can do. There's quite a bit of depth to it as a mechanic. I really like the whole idea of having to feed them and, you know, keep them happy and all these kind of things that you have to get a specific type of food that they like, first of all. Then every once in a while you have to keep remembering to feed it. Then they get more loyal to you. Then they have their own like talent trees kind of, and their own whole thing going on. So it's very, very cool. Of course, the Warlock doesn't get that level of depth for theirs. It's just like a very, you know, that one feels like a more mercenary type relationship. Like they're there just to do the job, and when they're done, they're done. So he'll give me probably one more, which very well might be to tame a raptor, and that might be how I even decided. Very reactionary way of doing it. This is my tendency to combine like a story playthrough with a hard mode, because like everything's a hard mode for me. So like Anthem, you wouldn't think of as a story game, but it's also a first playthrough permadeath, hard mode, solo, everything. It's too many formats, as the Emperor would say from Amadeus. It's too many notes. 8%. That is kind of an underrated movie. Like, it didn't make that much money when it came out. I get one Best Picture, but then it got kind of forgotten about, I feel like. It not only is it very historically inaccurate, but it's also just like, it's not even really about him as much. It's more about Salieri and all these other things going on. His little subconscious duel with God that he feels like he's having. Like it's an affront to his whole life that this guy's better than him at music in his own view, even though the public doesn't seem to see it at that point. Yeah, we'll go turn this thing in, and then we want to figure out what pet we're actually going to get. I do kind of want to go above Thunder Ridge to just see what those are, but you know what? You're a troll. A red raptor would be perfectly fine from the Echo Isles. It feels fitting, doesn't it? In fact, it feels more fitting as a troll than it would have felt as an orc, so it's interesting that I chose that. I probably just chose it out of sheer, you know, it looks awesome or whatever. Tells you my memory's pretty bad, but then again, that was a really goddamn long time ago. And I always remember that one moment, which was on my hunter. It was my first time doing probably a dungeon of any kind, because Wailing Caverns was something I didn't even know about or nobody really cared about doing. Was SFK. It was my first time doing any dungeon. And I'm a hunter and I have my pet, and the whole group wipes, and I think it was probably our first time wiping in there, and we're on Aragorn, and then he's at low health, so I'm just able, between me and my pet, I'm barely able to finish him off myself, so it felt like a badass ending to it. He was very low, obviously, but still. You need to practice in order to gain the skills. You need to you need to effectively control your pet. Have you tamed a surf crawler? You're a swift learner. You have done well. Really? Because I took over the 10 minutes allotted for the last guy. The final creature you need to tame is one that you should strive to emulate, the armored scorpion. Oh. It strikes quickly and confidently. To control such a force, this is your fate as a hunter. When you return, I will bestow you with the skills you need to tame an animal of your choosing. This creature will be yours to command. Under your control, your pet will gain experience alongside you. Oh, so they must not right now. That could be a whole hard mode challenge in itself. Try to get one of these dinky things to level 60. I will show you how to call it and dismiss it as you wish, but not how to revive it, because we can't use that mechanic, and we also can't use in fact, if that's the spell you learn, I just won't learn it. We have to feed it, we have to be able to heal it, and we're allowed to dismiss and resummon it, but we cannot revive it. Use a taming route to tame an armor scorpion, practice your skills, and return the Durotar at Razor Hill. Yeah, there's going to be a whole different like ability tree that you kind of get based on which one. Some of them are going to be boring, but whatever we do get, we're going to commit to, because the second one we get is going to be like a ranged one somehow. Although there might not be as many ranged ones as I'm giving it credit for. Like one of those little winged dragon things I like. Whatever they're called, like the ones you see in Wailing Caverns, but hopefully I don't have to go there to get it. It's going to be an armored scorpion, or this is a scattering scorpion. I assume an armored scorpion might be further on, that he's trying to egg me on to put myself at more risk or something. I don't actually know for sure where they are. In fact, he didn't give me any indication. I don't know these horde zones super well, again, except for experience of having attacked them. Or like if I was a warlock, I would have trolled people with the infernal thing in Goldshire. I still don't know exactly how that works, but either they might be here or they might be further north. What is this little clattering sound? I guess it's the mud crab itself. Armored scorpion. You would think it'd be reasonably higher level. Like it's not going to be one that would be way back towards Senjin Village. They want to send me back to the Echo Isles anyway to get the raptor eggs. So I guess in the process of doing that, we'll steal their eggs and we'll steal one of their kind too. That's a very dirty thing to do, I guess. I genuinely... The sound is kind of annoying, actually. See, that would tell you I don't want a mud crab as my pet, because it'd be drive you goddamn crazy over time. There was this old story about a village that had this sound going on all the time, and when the sound stopped, they finally went crazy. Whereas vice versa would be true. If you went your whole life without hearing the sound, oh, it's totally got to be one of these that I used. What would be the difference between these and the Echo Isle ones anyway? Go for the lower level one. I almost don't even want to use the pet as a thing here. We'll just do it ourselves. Don't let him pull aggro, and then all I really want to do... See, rock structures like this can get you in trouble, because there could be something creeping around that's going to aggro at some point here. This guy wasn't too hard. In fact, the surf crawler did the most damage to me. Shit, we almost killed it. Despite the fact... Wait. Oh, you do have to dismiss it here. I'm fine with that. Wait, what? Oh, shit. See, I didn't even know that much. I got to get out of here. Almost get myself killed. What? It becomes hostile for dismissing it? I guess that's deserved. Fair enough. Not that big of a deal to run away. I should have actually put it out of its misery, but I didn't really want to. I mean, just like I didn't kill the boar. In fact, if I did kill it, that should still count towards the thing. So it didn't die. It despawned because I... That's what you call a bad breakup. Let's go ahead and do this. That was a very... See, something like that could kill me. And you might say, oh, how could you not know that? But, like, I've never played as a goddamn hunter except for, you know, that one time. So what am I supposed to know? I didn't even, like, pay attention to the fact that you couldn't buy ammo in the starting towns. Like, it would be the same for, like, a dwarf hunter or a night elf hunter or something, right? There won't be a general good shop in the starting hub, right? Where you like, level 1 to 5 thing. And so you would have to go to like Karanos or whatever to actually do it. So here we had to go to Senjin Village, and at least that's closer than most of them. In fact, Senjin Village is like an exception because there is no... Wait a second, even the gnomes don't really get a Senjin Village, do they? Because like they have like a little Tinker Town equivalent, but it would basically be Nomergon. I'm not even sure how that works. Yeah, they get kind of cocked. Okay, so we'll get the scorpion, we'll turn it in, and then we'll decide on our actual full-on pet. Which has got to be a raptor. I'm almost satisfied with one of these, but I'll do the Echo Isles one maybe just out of respect for being a troll. Yeah, that was a big mistake and oversight. See, that's kind of half the fun for me too. You're not going to die to just some basic combat when you're doing it on your terms. Well, all these unexpected things can happen. That's why I always say, like, knowing is half the battle, and half the fun of the challenge of these is, like, anything would be easy if you just knew how everything worked. Like, oh, Dark Souls is a joke. Just look up the strategy for every boss. So how can you use that as a criticism? Just say, like, oh, this game's too easy, or the end game and the bosses are too easy. If they were easy, then people would have had an easy time with it the first time, which they, you know, to an extent they maybe did, but the real problem with it was just the fact that means if I dismiss it in town, it would fight me. That obviously doesn't happen once you actually tame them for good. They don't just start to fight you. You get to keep them. Or, like, maybe dismiss is different than... That would be like abandon, right? Which you don't have that command yet. So you might dismiss one and think, oh, it's going to be gone for good once you actually get it. Did I even fight with this guy? Let me actually fight something properly and just kill something, because it's like I'm testing out the abilities, even though nobody had an ability besides the boar. So if it was my own tendency, I would get the boar just because it's a cool thing ability-wise. The charge. You should have some poisonous ability, but maybe you get that later. Just the amount of detail that they put into some of these specific classes is very impressive. Of course, what's not impressive is like the paladin class, where it was totally unfinished. Those are the two things that are most unfinished in the game that people said. Some of the end level zones where there are, like, not enough quests technically to get you to level 60, which I never really bought that, because if you go between all the level 50 to 60 zones, they'll certainly be enough. But also Kalimdor in general, some of the horde zones weren't finished, which is evidenced by the fact that the Barrens is shared between the Orc, Troll, and Tauren, and so you don't have, like, a Silverfine Forest equivalent, or you don't have, it's mainly the Tauren who miss out, because the Trolls are like the welfare class of the Horde, where it's tied into the Orcs anyway as far as the starting zone. So that's the same as the Gnomes and the Dwarves, right? They're tied together. So it's understandable that Loch Modan would be shared between those two, like the Barrens. But what's not understandable is how the Tauren would be shared with them too, so they get kind of cucked. And not only do they get cucked, but they have to walk through a very dangerous level 20 area. So as much as Alliance people bitch about the wetlands run, you can sympathize with this for the simple fact that if I wait 10 minutes, will I actually fail the quest? The fact that I don't have the Scorpit? Or I'll die one time on the map. But you would think you would hear all the craziness going on. But no, it's like, yeah, you have to walk through a level 20 Kodos, the lightning thunder lizards, to be able to get to the Crossroads. So that's worse than the wetlands run, not only maybe in and of itself, but I guess it's not as long, but you have to do it, whereas they don't have to do it. They could just wait, get to level 20, and then, you know, in Ashenvale, and then worry about going to the other continent. I like how you can see, you know, like the lakes, even on this map, the very large bodies of water. I guess I didn't think about how much of a big deal that really is with respect to, you know, they show you, like, even these minute bodies of water, but only when you're on the zone map itself. And some of them get covered up by, like, the... See, this one shows up, but the one underneath that doesn't. I train and guide young hunters. Okay, that's the same where you're able to tame the Scorpid. Yeah, and I almost died because I stupidly dismissed my surf crawler in the middle of combat. Now we know, but that's never going to happen, like, again. You have learned all I can teach you. It is time for you to take what you have learned and choose a pet of your own. Here you are. I will now give you the power to tame a beast, as well as call it and dismiss it as you see fit. Use your new skills with pride. You have earned them. Dismiss it as you see fit, but that makes it seem like you're abandoning it. Teaches tame beast, call pet. Oh, you don't have to learn those individually. But the resurrection you probably do, and the actually, there's nothing to do with feed pet. You have to learn resurrection and probably mend pet later too. You now have the powers to tame a pet, but you must also gain skills to train it, or maybe he gives it now. Travel to Orgrimmar. There you must speak to one of our most revered hunters, Armak Grimshot. He will give you the ability to train your new pet. We're going to be reduced to basically a healer for our pet. I almost try to make a build like that in Skyrim, like where you make a character who's only allowed to heal, and you have a companion with you, and you keep using the whatever the healing spell is on them. Heal ally, so you become a healer in a single player game. It's kind of a fun, you know, unique character class that you can't do in a lot of games. You ability to train your new pet. You will find him near the Hall of the Brave. Good luck. Training lesson. Teaches beast training. Food that'll give you like the talent trees and stuff. Feed pet and revive pet, which revive pet I can just turn down because I'm not allowed to do that. So we'll let this guy despawn nice and peacefully. We kind of didn't give the surf crawler that treatment, so he took his revenge on us. See, just by RPing, by letting the 10 minutes run out. What? The burning blade is spreading? We must investigate. As he continues to stand here. Or no, that's like once you turn the quest in, I guess. There's always those comical, almost spoiler things. Like, you're playing as a level 10 in Stormwind, and you see Onyxia, Lady Katarina, or whatever her name is, turn into fucking Onyxia, and it's like, oh, that's spoilers for the story, goddammit. What we got to see here is, I guess I just know how to trigger people. Like, I just talk about a topic, and people are like, oh, you're ranting, ha ha ha. Like, you just can't talk in a nuanced, passionate way about something without without ranting. I must rant all the time on stream, then all day, every day, because that's all I do is just talk about random stuff. So the biggest thing here is the ability to get the raptor from the Echo Isles, and I think I will be satisfied with that. Even if it's like a level 8 or something, it doesn't have to be exact. So we'll kind of bridge our 200 experiences from when we first literally started playing Original Classic to now, the only other time I really played a hunter. And this one will actually get to 60 under much more difficult circumstances. See, that's how you can make something more interesting too. This would be interesting to a lot of people anyway, just like, oh, you're playing the Horde for basically the first time, you're reading the quest tags and all this kind of stuff that you haven't done before. That can be interesting in and of itself. But on top of that, you also get to basically, you know, make it more immersive because, okay, you can't die and there's all these kind of other restrictions. Although that could arguably make it more boring too. Like, oh, you don't get to use all your abilities, which is, it's a little bit anti-fun because I'm more a fan in hard mode stuff. Like, it's all my own idea to do it this way, but I'm more a fan of being able to use all the resources you have available. But, oh, you could do like a rank run then, I guess. You can use all your abilities, but you can only use rank 1 of them. Right, because that used to be such a big thing in Classic as far as spell ranks, like rank 1 Frostbolt for kiting and stuff. As a mage, I know that one pretty well. Mages were like one of the most fun and arguably skill-based classes too. So call pet. If I need to have this on like my F1 through F12 bar, because it's going to be very commonly used. Let's go to Senjin Village and chill. So we got to end off in like a different, unique location every episode. So episode 1, I end off in Valley of Trials, but as an accomplished level 7. Episode 2, we end off in the beach here in Senjin Village still. And then basically we end where we start the episode. We start in Valley of Trials, we end in Valley of Trials. We start in Senjin Village, basically. That's the first place we go, we end there. So now we'll end in Razor Hill with our newly appointed pet. The problem is I don't have enough room here, or I guess I do because I gave up that. Now he'll just get dismissed. Oh, you know what? I got to be careful though. What if he became hostile? Like I dismissed him in town. That was actually a godsend that I did it out in the wild. Then he gets killed by a guard. Then I can never use that pet again. Not that I really wanted a surf crawler or a scorpion anyway, but that could be a really funny, dangerous interaction that fucks me over. Now see, in my defense, if you dismiss a pet normally, it doesn't attack you. Or I think even if you abandon the pet for good, like you get rid of them so you make room in your stable for something else, it doesn't attack you then, I don't think. After everything you've been through together. Maybe if it was always unhappy with you, it would. Yeah, these little things that you have to micromanage, from ammo to the pet, is a really fun RPG element. But it's like a lot of these games make themselves less and less of an RPG. Now, what's funny about this is, this guy's swimming, but I feel like some of these things can't swim. Like, even if you go and you fight like a tiger and you go in the water out of its aggro range, it won't chase you because it can't swim. So you're teaching them how to swim. We're teaching the scorpion the way of water that it might not normally be able to do. You could even test that. So we gotta find a raptor. Hopefully, I think it's at least level 8 that we're talking about as far. So let's see if we can hold aggro from it, because that's almost the theme of what I want to do. I don't want to rely on the pet as the tank, and so if they have a taunt ability, I'll turn it off. I don't know what abilities the raptor even has, if any. I mean, they all kind of have something. I'm gonna need room for the egg thing anyway, so this is, like, I'm satisfied with either of these. even if there's a level 9, like I'll just do this. So get him low and we'll just do it. You better not finish it off, dude. Or actually, I can't. Let's wait till... And you don't actually have to get it from a drop. You have to get it from the ones that are physically on the ground. So I knew we'd have to come back for that eventually. That doesn't seem like the type for having such a conspicuous item everywhere that you would just have it for a class quest only. There's got to at least be a level 8. I don't know that there are any level 9s, or maybe there will be. Or I think he despawned right then, speaking of which. Yeah, it's a good multi-purpose to have to come here to be able to not only tame the raptor, but also to get the egg. So that quest kind of was pretty well timed. Maybe they have a chance to drop them too, but I think it's unlikely. Broken bow? What's a bow? That's the only interaction with one we'll see. Or, I mean, we might get some from a quest item, but then we'll just sell it. See, we won't be able to do anything with greens and stuff from quest or items if we get them. We'll get like a BOE blue wand or something cool. But you vendor it for like a gold, which is still pretty good value, don't get me wrong. Level 6. I mean, we kind of wasted that level 8. Now it might be hard to find another one. These ones seem kind of too small too, don't they? Level 8, there it is. We should just do it. What I kind of want to do is the interface stuff, like show me the taskbar. Bottom left. Good way to introduce it for all the pet abilities. So we have call pet. We have dismiss pet, which I'm not really going to use. We have tame beast. We can kind of play around with the placement of them later. I think feed pet I would have on like F2. I mean, dismiss and tame you're not going to do very often, so it doesn't really matter. So let's do that F1 through F12. This is the kind of thing where I always said, like, this is why WoW has to be on PC, or like the best quality games have to be on PC. Because on console, they would have to reduce this somehow to, you wouldn't be able to have 6 fucking action bars with a million different abilities. It's just an objective downfall. Okay, bottom left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Counting ASMR. We're playing actually 3 Blizzard games right now. Overwatch 2 for the multiplayer mystery game of the week on Fridays, just by chance. Continuing that kind of like a Permadeath series too. Like if we lose a game as a hero, we have to move on to the next one. And then we're also playing Hearthstone, obviously, as a long-term thing. But for a long time, I wasn't playing this. This is kind of a new development, courtesy of the Flex format, which just lets me open the door to make series of a lot of these multiplayer games that I've never played, or at least that I haven't played in a while. I'm still treating it like I have to do it from the item. So this might make it more difficult to tame them too. If they're sort of like, you know, we have to get them super low. But we'll use a raptor to steal the raptor's own eggs. Imagine how insulting that is. So I'm not too worried about the 2-level difference. Like, I'll just deal with it. We're doing this out of affection for the original pet that I got, but for some reason I feel like it might have been an orange one from outside Orgrimmar, but that much of a difference I can deal with. We almost died to do it too. That shows our dedication. Now, what could we get him that he would like to eat? What does it show? Where does it show that? Damn, dude. Look how close I came to. You do Shift P to show you like his diet. Diet is meat. So, I mean, a fish counts as meat. There's all these weird definitions that people come up with, like, oh, you know, eggs technically aren't meat or something. Vegetarian copium. What do we want to name it to? Kind of a tough decision. Let's just do something simple like Ash. Speaking of the Pokemon thing, like Ash Ketchum. That's not really why even, but can you actually rename it again? You can't. Dismiss, yes. See, dismiss is fine. You can do it. Abandon, you can't do it. Raid target icon, I don't see the point. He's unhappy, so we're going to feed him with this. Wait, where is feed pet? Wait. What? Oh, don't tell me you learned feed pet from that. Oh, that's bullshit, because now I'm not going to do it for a while. So this guy's going to be unhappy forever. There's just nothing I can do for him, because that's kind of stupid. You should know feed pet from the start. That's the most important thing. Losing loyalty, but he's already at 0. What, is he going to start attacking me in the middle of combat? Rebellious? Like, how much is it going to hurt me that he's going to do that, you know? Maybe it doesn't really matter, but given the pace of this series, it's going to take me forever to actually do anything here. The only key thing is don't let him die. Because, and since this is my pet, I wouldn't be able to kill him if he leaves my service too. Like how I almost killed that surf crawler thing. You can't let him drown either, which he might be doing as we speak. Oh, that could be actually a real consideration. Like, what if they just accidentally drown on their own or something? Or they, like, fall off of something? I don't know how easy that would be to do. So where are the goddamn raptor eggs? I mean, we're seeing raptors, but I feel like there was some on maybe this island. And I'm not going to be able to do that. So it's not that we got him the wrong kind of food. It's that we can't feed him until you have to literally go to Orgrimmar to do it. Like, that's going to be a while, dude. I just can't worry about it then. Kill some of your own kind. Only the one that's under our control would have to die to be able to. I'm seeing it on the mouse over, but I can't actually see it. They do a pretty good job hiding them. Stone arrowheads, which actually do stack. Always love the grays that stack because you're able to, you know, we only need 3 of them. You're able to keep them more efficiently. I'm surprised how much the bag space has been an issue here. Yeah, he's not unhappy because he's killing his own kind. He's unhappy because he doesn't have any abilities either. He's unhappy because he's able to not be fed by no fault of my own. Okay, so we need 2 more. It should be understand, or you should have to get like 1 from each different island for some reason. From like 3 different islands, assuming 3 even have them. This is the top biggest one. We'll get to level 11 right here. I don't like this whole underwater. You know what, dude? I'm taking a big chance. What if his breath is really... Because I think, obviously, that should be able to happen. It's not like... Unless it happens to be something that reasonably could survive underwater. Like one of these. You could do like a... If you could be an undead hunter, that'd be a good match. You could both stay underwater forever. That'd be some kind of meta thing. Like you have a 40 versus 40 PvP battle, and then you escape underwater if things go wrong. Some like Lelouch level tactic from Code Geass, and then you'll sort of be in a position where they can't really chase you there, and then your pet can go there too, going to next level. I actually don't even mind this as a core melee ability. It's just like I need something more, and even from the talents you don't really get any. In fact, I can't even parry stuff yet, even though I have a 1% parry chance. You can't explain that. So where are the eggs? And this does make it easy mode, but I'm still trying to be the one who has to take the damage. I can't always promise that's going to happen, because if my only damage is just a dinky melee thing, it's possible they'll take aggro from me anyway, but now this island should have like 1 million of them. Level 11, very immersion breaking screen capture thing. And so that's going to allow me to be even more of a parry fiend. I'm just wondering what your base parry chance would actually be, and I don't know what it is. It must at least be like 5%, so it'll be 10% with that combined. And then, you know, that's beautiful because you're able to... I like all these things that come full circle for me, because I never used to upload stuff and I never really cared about it. 2 hours and 32 minutes, huh? Some of that might have been last time though too. Like I always used to play WoW, but I never uploaded stuff. I never got known for it, like to the public or whatever. So I wasn't in it for the attention. But then I upload a random video, 90-second clip, and then it gets 30,000 views, one of my most viewed videos ever. So it's like a good karmic thing. Not that I really believe in that. Or like even Phoenix Wright. I used to do that. That was one of the things I was kind of known for. But now when I upload Phoenix Wright videos, like Spirit of Justice, my most recent series of it, they get no views, but then I do Danganronpa in the same sort of style, giving it the same sort of attention and respect, and those are like 4 of my top viewed videos. So there is sort of a lesson from that. Like, even if you can't replicate what you did before exactly, or get credit for it, you can replicate something similar, right? If you just go in with the right approach and the right mentality and treat it with a certain amount of respect. Now, I don't know... Well, first of all, I don't like fighting. Well, I don't know what I'm even doing right now. I'm just trying to complete the egg quest, I guess, and then we'll rest and chill with our pet back in town. So the only thing on the checklist that I was planning to do today that I didn't do, I got the pet, I got the... What was the other? I got the talents, I decided on the talents, but I didn't decide on the... Or no, I did decide on the professions, but I didn't actually get them. So I just need more money for that, and I just don't have any money. And mainly the problem with that is I don't have room in the bags. See, we're trying to protect the pet too because of the permadeath pet condition. So we're putting our life on the line for their sake. Look how low he's actually getting. Like, this is so unfair and so stupid, and we can't even feed him. So we have to be very, very careful. There is no resurrection, right? It's just not something we're allowed to do. And not only is there not resurrection, but we can't retame the same pet. Otherwise, that'd make it too easy, the same type. I don't know how broad the definition should be, like with respect to the types, but like any kind of raptor or any kind of whatever. So some enemy's going to do some ability that one-shots it, or if you play it kind of the same way you do. In fact, what I think ends up happening is the pet ends up having more health than you, or, you know, it starts to become super badass in the long run. I mean, it's actually pretty close given the fact that it's under-leveled by 2. How do you actually see their experience? Oh, here. Yeah, they'll catch up, I'm sure. A lot of this stuff is just green to me. Actually, I was trying to get an egg on a different island, so we did this one. So let's check like the bottom 2. 1 egg per island. Yeah, I'm going to create my own little quest objectives too to make it more interesting. Kind of like how I had the objective to... The way he moves in the water is as if he's walking in place, right? It almost looks like a bug, but they just didn't bother to really account for that or animate it. And like I said, some of these things are breaking the rule that if you aggro them and pull them to the edge, they can't swim, but now it can just because it would have to be your pet. So that's a little bit RP breaking. We can just say we taught it to swim with our immense commitment to doing that ourselves in the second episode, learning the way of water. Usually there's one by these guys, but not always. Yeah, we have to be very careful with him, not let him get killed. Only thing I don't like about him is he's a little bit too tiny. Somehow I thought he should like be bigger than we are. Wow, there's got to be an egg thing on here somewhere. There's so many raptors. But he should show up on my tracking too, right? Or is he showing up because of the tracking, or is he showing up just because he's my pet? Or like if I took off, I guess it doesn't really matter, but there's some eggs there. We'll fight to the death with this guy for it, and then we'll be good to go. So there's still a lot of quests around Razor Hill. Yeah, Razor Hill is going to be a 3-episode series. Like, it's a TV show, right? You got to really milk the content, but that's not really why I'm even doing it. And yeah, imagine how long this is going to take later in higher levels, because I'm going to go to all these different areas too. Like, I'll go to the undead areas, I'll go to, you know, Tauren areas. I'll try to go to a lot of different ones, except for Alliance stuff. Or like one time I'm going to aggro a guard and get fucking one-shot because I'm too much of an explorer. So I'll end up aggroing like an Ashenvale guard by going off the beaten path. Or it'll be like a pat going down the road that's like a really high level 40, and just crit me and fucking... That's why I need like Feigned Death as a cushion, right? Every class has to have some out. The warrior has their fear, which could actually get you in more trouble than good, so they don't really have a great out. You could do Last Stand, but I didn't have that. Or you could do Psychic Scream as a priest, but that gets you in trouble. In fact, that almost did get me killed in the wetlands by like some Murloc encounter that I always reminisce about. Or, you know, Mage could blink away. You could maybe ice block. And the Rogue was the easiest because you have an easy out by being able to vanish whenever you feel like sort of, you know, you're in trouble. Which even that almost got me killed because I thought I would be safe, but then I had a little tick of a dot left over. And then finally you have Feigned Death. Like, what other good escapes do you have? Like a Druid would have all kinds because they have all these dynamic abilities between the forms. And what else? Warlock and Shaman might have Soulstone or Ankh, but technically in my book that wouldn't be allowable. So at least to show as a signature of progress, let's say we have to log out in a different place every time, but it doesn't have to be so specific. Like, it could just be in the middle of the road or something too, but then you feel like you might get killed by some straggler. Like, how many times am I going to have to log out in Orgrimmar? Probably. Or that I feel like I should. So I can't really promise that, actually. But just for the RP of it, I should. Right, so we already logged out in Senjin Village. We ended an episode there, so we can't do it again. So we'll do Razor Hill, then we'll find like these little huts out in the wild, right? And so each one will count. It just has to be somewhere that feels actually safe, that's all. I don't know, I feel like somehow I'll get killed in a scenario like that, though. I'll log in the middle of the road and something unexpected will be there, like in Duskwood. You'll do that as an Alliance player. Oh, I'll just log out in the middle of the road. Everything will be fine. Nothing's going to kill me here. Right, that's why the road is meant to be safe. And then the patchwork little knockoff guy, I forget his name, the Abomination will come and just fucking crit you and you'll die as soon as you start the next episode. Some control mechanic like that. So all we have to do is we have to go to Razor Hill and turn this thing in. What quest do we have to look forward to next time? We can do the Turgard Keep. Hopefully we get some bags from it. We can do this. You might get bags from the Quillboard too. The real thorn in our side. And then follow the road to the Barrens. I'm not going to fuck with that shit. I'm not even thinking about the Barrens. Even though I am level 11. So I don't really care about that aspect. Because you might say, again, over-leveled. But over-leveled compared to what? I don't have to do any quests at all. So I'm just leveling, right? Like, I'm just killing stuff and getting experience. Like, you could do that in any context anyway. There's no rule. Or the rule could be like the rule of 2, but that's just more like a general piece of advice where I'm like, you know, you shouldn't really fight stuff. It works on 3 levels. You should always try to fight stuff 2 below you. You should never fight stuff 2 above you. And you should never fight 2 things at once. And you should never have a second person helping you, like multiplayer. So it works on many levels. And so what else did we do here? A lot of these spells I'm not going to be able to learn, so you're going to be very naked in terms of the abilities that you have. A lot of it is going to be the pet hotkeys. For some reason I feel like the control stuff wasn't there by default. Maybe you had to bind that yourself, or I don't know what it was, but I feel like that maybe they added over time. I'm certainly no expert on either of these things, the hunter class or the horde in general. It is kind of fun having that whole other aspect of the game to come to. Like between the class variety, between the race variety, between the the whole faction variety. Imagine in a single player game, that's what always gives them like millions of hours of replay value. Like, if you choose a character class at the beginning, and it's a good RPG and you like it, especially if it's open world, you could play through the same content over and over again, but just as a different class, and that makes it very multiplicative and exponential, just like, it's interesting because of you, not because of the world. So even in Dark Souls, I made my own character classes, which seems restrictive, but I still had fun. Like, I get to fight Ornstein and Smaug as a two-handed strength-only character, or as a, you know, intelligence-only magic character. There's all these cool dynamics that it unlocks for you. What's sometimes annoying, though, as much as I'm trying to do like all the quests that I come across, there might be a quest now that's available in Senjin Village or in the Valley of Trials. I like that he points at me, or he's pointing at the food or something. But they might appear once you're a certain level, so I won't know unless I go back. So there might be some of that. The 2 abilities that I really want in the long run are aspect of the pack or aspect of the cheetah, just to go faster in the overworld, although that could get you in trouble because of the days. And I also want the Pain Death, obviously, which I think you both get around level 30. Or I think aspect of the cheetah you get a little earlier than that. That was one of the most satisfying things to do as like a warrior or something. Just throw like a little knife or something, shoot them with your bow to yeah, I'm gonna end this playthrough having used my bow more, my range more as a warrior than as a hunter, even by getting one to level 60 and one to level 25 back in the day. But no, it's like you would throw like heroic throw or something and daze some clown using aspect of the cheetah. Gives you like a free CC that they just do to themselves. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Who cares which meal it is? Has to be cooked by someone, namely me. You might be weak, but at least you're not clumsy. Why are you calling me weak when you're level 6 and I just did your work for you? Take this and get out of my way. I've got cooking to do. Why is he being such a dick to me now, dude? Fuck. I guess it's somewhat justified. But isn't he supposed to take this? Oh, I don't know what to get rid of now. Everything is very precious. You know, I can afford to toss this even, just because I'm trying to get the 9 silver one from the rare guy in Senjin Village. But you have to, yeah, I wonder what our first green is going to be, or even our first blue that we might get from a quest. The problem is a lot of those blues that you get from a quest are from like dungeon things that you would have to do. So I'll be like a level 40 and I'll go through Wailing Caverns and solo it just to get a blue from that. That's still better than what I'm using normally, because you just get dog shit items otherwise. Oh, it's because you have to receive both. So one of them will get replaced and the other one won't. You can always just buy another fishing pole too. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do here. A lot of stuff to take in still. Still have to learn the profession. Still have to learn some spells, maybe. Some stuff for our pet. So I'm actually going to make a point of this to not get rested experience. Even as weird as that maybe seems. Because this is the style of what it's going to be. It's going to be very slow paced, so I don't feel too bad about it. Where could I sit? We kind of chill next to the stable master. Our pet's in their stable being taken care of. Very nice. It wants to hug her rather than me. It goes towards them because anyone's better than me because they hate me so much because I'm not feeding them. I wonder if it'll die from starvation because that might be totally, you know, fair in the sense that you normally wouldn't do that anyway. And then that would kill my permadeath condition of being able to, you know, that would hurt my permadeath condition of being able to deal with it from a perspective of getting another raptor ever. Let's actually turn off the names for a second just to get like an immersive little picture here. I've been something of a, you know, artist with trying to take good pictures, something of a photographer. Of course, you could just screenshot the VOD itself. That's why I don't really understand it. But this is kind of a good picture not only to log out on, but maybe to use as a thumbnail. Somehow the angle of it isn't quite right? Because it centers on you, so you can't really do it perfectly, but that's fine. Something like this. I haven't been as picky or choosy about the thumbnails for this series because I'm actually uploading it on a regular schedule, meaning like when I actually do it. So like I'll do it, you know, after the 24-hour affiliate cooldown runs out, I guess you could say. So we can't do it like Ash Ketchum though, truthfully. Like we got to catch them all because you can only have 3, that's only really the sad part about it. Maybe in Modern WoW you can just have as many as you want because hunters would have the whole completionist RP of wanting to sort of, you know, catch every pet in the game by today's standards.